states do you think those are? And CBS News reporters are in total and utter panic with their new coworker coming on board. We'll talk about that and so much more here on Turning Point Tonight. Together, we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. This is Turning Point Tonight. Now, before we get into any of those, I got to remind you, you can email the show anytime you want. tpt@tpusa.com. Turning Point Tonight, tpt@tpusa.com. We love seeing all of your emails. And if you send us funny and hilarious videos, it makes my job just a little bit easier in that fourth segment. Before we get into those stories in our fantastic panel, we do have a fantastic panel with us today. Got to talk about this. We all remember, it wasn't all that long ago, it was a couple days ago, when President Trump yanked the Secret Service security from Kamala Harris. How dare he do that? Even though he was just reverting back to what is legally mandated with the 6 months and not Joe Biden's 18 months, which nobody's sure why he extended that length. I don't even think he's sure why he did that. I don't even know if he did it. But the bottom line is President Trump yanked Secret Service from Kamala Harris. Well, guess who's paying for it now? I'll give you a hint. It's not rich lib donors. It's definitely not them. And it's also not Vice President Kamala Harris. She's been living in Brentwood, which is a very, very wealthy area in Los Angeles. Actually, it's the area that O.J. Simpson was living in when he killed his wife, allegedly killed his wife and her lover. But again, Brentwood, California is where Kamala Harris has been living with her husband, Doug. And again, it's not the rich donors paying for her security. It's not her. It's the taxpayers of the great city of Los Angeles. LAPD has up to 14 police officers taken off the streets, away from cases, away from crime suppression, to provide taxpayer-funded security to the former vice president, of which who I don't know how big of a threat, I don't know, she has against her anyway. I don't even know why that's necessarily needed. Now, again, this goes without saying, I don't want anybody to do any harm to Kamala Harris or anybody on the left side of the aisle. We should argue with our words. That's what adults do. But at the same time, why are we paying continually for Kamala Harris's security? She was also apparently offered CHP, California Highway Patrol protection, which Governor Newsom would have to sign off for. But again, the question becomes, why is she not paying for it? And why is the donors not paying for it? Why are the taxpayers paying for it? Here to comment on that and so much more is host of the Ari Hoffman Show. It's Ari Hoffman and conservative political commentator Jillian Anderson King. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Jillian, I want to start with you here. Why? Why is it that big government Democrats always get, with super great treatment, also at the on the hook by the taxpayers? Why are the taxpayers paying for this in any way, shape, or form?
I have no idea where the taxpayers should be paying for this. They shouldn't at all. Vice presidents traditionally do not get this service. But isn't it ironic the same people who are yelling at rioters in the name of defunding the police really want the police when they need them? I mean, reports are showing that she had 14 LAPD with her when she was going to get sushi in Brentwood. To your point, that must be one heck of a California role that she needed to get to with those officers in hand. But everyone knows like California is messed up, it's dirty, it's crime riddled, and they have a lack of police service. So sure, let's let 14 officers watch her down some sushi. That's definitely what the taxpayers need. Please suck unless I need it.
Yeah, I think this is the same person that had a fund to bail people out when they were rioting against the police, which, is what it is. Ari, okay, so hear me out. I don't know how Kamala can't get a big lib donor to pay for her own protection. Like, either they can get one who says, hey, you're going to run for president, or they can get one that says, hey, I'll pay for your security if you promise to not run for president again. I feel like either way, you can find somebody. Why can't she do what everybody else does and pay for it herself?
Well, because she maxed out her big donors. She blew through billions of dollars to lose an election, and nobody has faith in her anymore. The only people she needs protection from is the Democratic establishment, who probably wants to kill her for losing so bad and losing to Donald Trump. Or maybe she needs protection from Doug Emhoff. Apparently, he was enjoying, allegedly, the perks of being on the campaign trail with her. But really, when you look at Los Angeles, the reason they probably want to give her security is because, can you imagine if Kamala Harris, God forbid, got mugged in Los Angeles like a normal Angelino? Then all of a sudden that page story, and Gavin Newsom wants to run for president. So I think what this is really about is protecting Gavin Newsom. Because can you imagine the headlines if something happened to Kamala Harris while walking down the street of Los Angeles like any normal person who lives there?
That is a very, very good point. And to your point of, well, Doug can protect her. I don't know if Doug can protect her from a strong breeze, let alone an assailant. So maybe I guess it is necessary. Speaking of areas that are not great, Ari, I thought this was really interesting. In Seattle, they are closing temporarily 3 different parks around the city because I quote, and I want to quote here, there have been bouts of negative park activity, so they will continue to stay closed. Interestingly enough, there's a mayoral race going on in Seattle, and these parks are going to be closed for 60 days. In other words, the lead up to the mayor's race. Why do you think Seattle has made the choice to close these parks? And what do you think those negative activities might be?
So, little background for you. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell ran as a moderate law and order candidate last time, and he has completely failed to bring law and order or any moderation. And he spent the last year trying to be a progressive because he's being challenged by somebody who's even more left than him. So normally before an election, what they start doing is they start cleaning up all the homeless encampments, especially in tourist season, when everybody's coming in for the cruises and the hikes and everything else. They didn't do that this year. So basically, over the summer, they let crime get completely out of control, more so than normal. You had a shooting on the brand new waterfront they just opened 6 days after they opened it. So Bruce Harrell has let the city completely go to garbage. So now the only thing they can do, because it's too late to fix anything, because the election's right around the corner, too late to clean anything up, all they can do now is say, we're just going to close these parks and kind of try and shove the homeless people out of the way so people forget they're there until the election time. And this has been his MO. It's just a giant game of whack-a-mole, of send them all over the city so people don't see them. That has been what he has done his entire time in office. I think he likes the idea of being mayor, not actually doing any of the stuff that a mayor is required to do.
You know, I think you're making the assumption there that the negative activity is homelessness. I guess I thought it was kids falling off the monkey bars and getting boo-boos. Jillian, you know, I guess okay, now zoom out, right? 30,000 feet, right? We can all see what's going on in Seattle. Do you think this type of stuff has any effect on voters and how they look at how their city is being policed and the safety in their communities, and the obvious move to try and gloss over some of the very, very bad parts of major cities like Seattle in this case?
I think you're trying to compare Seattle with other cities with normal people living in them. Seattle has been so far gone that up is down and down is up and the sky is red and they believe it. Like, I mean, I feel like that city's just a lost cause. I mean, like, I think we just build a fence around it and like ship it, like let it do its own thing at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went with a more leftist person, because how dare you push right now the rhetoric of the leftists? How dare you push homelessness out, the tents off the streets? How dare you solve that? How dare you solve crime? I think the left is just doubling down on that recently in all major cities. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did not want it cleaned up. They were angry that these parks were being shut down because Seattle is so backwards. So in a normal situation, you would think law and order, but with those constituents, I think they go with the liberal mayor.
Yeah, you know, we'll all find out together. I personally, Ari, I'll let you out of the fence if we do happen to get the legislation passed to fence Seattle in.
Say, what are you trapping me here for? I live here, guys. You wouldn't have all these crazy stories if not for me. Don't leave me alone here. Come on.
We'll give you something special, a little pedestal to get out of the fence.
Yes, you have a fence exemption.
Special key.
But Jillian, I liked what you said about normal, right? Normal people look at this and go, yeah, that's nuts. Normal people also look at states like California, where there are quote unquote health officials saying, well, COVID is about, it's time to mask up. You got to get your KN95 mask on, or else you're going to be killing grandma, or whatever the things that they've said. You know, Jillian, I feel like health officials around the country during COVID dragged their credibility out behind the barn and shot it in the head. Do you think anybody is listening to these people anymore?
I just feel like this is a message. Didn't I just hear this a few months ago, and then a few months before that? I feel like this is a constant with California. They're bringing up this health emergency. You need to push back masks. We haven't been on board with them for a long time. We kind of found out as a country, I thought, that a lot of these myths were debunked about how masks even worked. And I'll never forget in late 2021, Gavin Newsom saying those states who do not force vaccines, who do not force mask mandates, will pay for it. And here in my state of Florida, we had a way lower death count than the state of California did. We did not abide with those same policies, yet those policies, here we are in 2025, he's still pushing them. I don't think that anyone's buying it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Ari, this is not necessary. To be fair, there haven't been any statewide officials. This has been like local county officials, which, who knows, can get appointed to those seats. It might just be anybody. That's why they're maybe a little bit more Looney Tunes. But if there were a statewide person, do you think Gavin, who is clearly running for president, in an attempt to kind of get that more moderate vote, would fire that person? Or do you think he'd play into it again, so long as the masks weren't required at the French Laundry?
I think what he'll do is make sure that person still has a position, because he wants to be dictator again afterwards. Let's not forget, second only to Governor Jay Inslee of Washington, who had emergency powers for 975 days. I don't know about you guys. The only masks I see these days is always the driver in front of me who's driving a Prius really, really slow that I'm trying to get around. That's the person driving alone in the car wearing a mask when you pass them. Every single time. What Gavin Newsom is trying to do, you're going to see this big push that he's doing for safety, his podcast, everything else. He can't run on his record. It's an absolute disaster. So what he's going to do is try and make California look like a utopia through the election that he's running for president, which he's not running for, but we all know he's running for. So that way he could try and con some people. But his entire tenure as governor of California has been a colossal disaster. He can't run on his record. So he's going to try and pull a bait and switch, and he's going to keep those people around so he can impose his real agenda afterward.
Yeah, I honestly, and this might be a spicy take, I can't wait for him to run for president, because he will lose 48 states and I will just be giddy with joy and doing his dumb little hand motions. Ari and Jillian will be back after the break to discuss the conniption happening at CBS over their brand new hire, and Chicago apparently tried to use federal agents to keep the city safe, and it worked. Why did they stop doing it? All that and more coming up after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
America Fest is the starting point for us to take America to greater heights in 2025. We have a team that is ready to change the world and bring America back to greatness.
Experience the greatest celebration of America. 4 days, thousands of patriots, the loudest voices, the strongest leaders, featuring Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Grant Cardone, Rob Schneider, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Glenn Beck, Riley Gaines, Todd Chrisley, Savannah Chrisley, and more. December 18th to 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. The movement meets here. You won't want to miss this. Register now at amfest.com.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath & Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie-cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Welcome back to Turning Point Tonight, where together we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. Remember, you can email the show anytime you want. TPT@tpusa.com. We love seeing all your emails, all your memes, all the funny stuff that you send. TPT at tpusa.com. Let's check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent Monica Page at the White House. Monica, lots going on as usual, including some big investments in energy. What's going on there?
Yeah, Hitachi, which has been in Virginia, our neighboring state here in Washington, D.C., if you consider D.C. a state, which it is not. But Virginia, the DMV area, it's been around for about 50 years. And this investment is massive. It's nearly $500 million of an investment and $1 billion into the electrical grid expansion. Now, this is a big deal because this is going to create about 825 new jobs and really kind of helps Virginia have this manufacturing renaissance that it was really missing out on over the last couple of years. This is also huge for the pharmaceutical and heavy manufacturing that we've also seen in Virginia. This is just going to add to not only just a manufacturing boom and investment boom, but also for our national security. This is going to expand our power grids, allow us to compete with China, and just keep us safer overall in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be a cornerstone of our competition with China. And it's just going to be critical for our infrastructure overall as a nation.
You know, at the risk of going on to a crazy different tangent of like, yeah, the grid needs to get updated to the point where China can't hack into it and shut off power to the entire East Coast. I hope that some of that is built into this new investment, which would be great for American infrastructure overall. You know, what also is great for the American people is throwing all the illegals out of the country. And part of that process has been emboldened yet again in another alliteration lockup. What's the new place, Monica?
Joe Bob, you were the king of creative transitions. I will tell you that much. I did find that very impressive once again, just like yesterday's.
Thank you.
But yeah, this is the Louisiana lockup, Joe Bob. This is actually pretty cute. It's going to be the Angola prison in Louisiana, which is the largest maximum security prison in the country. It's actually going to be within an unused part of the prison. It's going to hold about 416 beds. And there's been about 51, more than 50 probably at this point, of illegal aliens that have already been in there so far. So this is only looking to grow even more, adding even more beds, of course, funded by the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed just this past 4th of July, which is massive and just adds to keeping our nation safe. We know that the latest DC crime numbers also include racking up some illegal aliens here in DC as well. So it's not just crime within our own country, you're also cracking down on illegal alien crime as well. So this is huge. I know the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, has been very excited to work with this administration in the creation of the Louisiana lockup and many more things to come as well, because I think the president also teased ahead that they're looking to maybe send some National Guard forces into Louisiana and some of those crime-ridden cities there as well to clean up that state. So there will be much more to come, I'm assuming, throughout the entire country.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating to look at. I love the naming of these, the alliteration that constantly goes with the alligator Alcatraz, Louisiana lockdown, lockup, whatever it's called. Fun, always fun. Monica Page, Turning Point's White House correspondent, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Joe Bob.
Thank you. Now, there's a lot of talk about whether the National Guard should go into the bloody streets of Chicago and try to get crime down. I mean, God forbid we try and keep crime down in this country. Well, turns out about 10 years ago in 2016, for one weekend, Chicago tried just that. They sent in extra PD, they sent in ATF agents and U.S. Marshals to flood the 3 most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, and it worked. Throughout those entire areas, there was only one shooting, and the crime in the city dropped by 41%. Why are they not doing that anymore? Let's bring back our panel, Ari and Jillian. Guys, one of the prosecutors, according to the New York Post, who had this article from that time period, said, yeah, it worked great. It worked flawlessly. The reason we didn't want to do it was because it made the city leaders look bad. And it seems like that thought process has traversed time into the modern age where, hey, we can't bring in the National Guard because that would prove that you can get this crime problem under control. And that would obviously make us look bad because why weren't you doing it in the first place? Jillian, I don't know. What can you do about Chicago, which again has tried this, it's worked, and they don't want to do it specifically for political reasons. What can you say about that?
I mean, their TDS is so bad in Chicago and in all of the state of Illinois, actually, that they would rather have crime just run rampantly across their major cities than actually let someone do something about it. I mean, they can talk out of both sides of their mouth if they want, but what they can't ignore is the progress, the successful progress the Trump administration has made in the city of DC. We know that, like, crime is at an all-time low. Homicides are at zero. Carjackings way down. It is working, and the people there love it. And I cannot imagine the people of Chicago, the citizens of Chicago, would not love a safer area. Chicago's murder toll has now surpassed U.S. deaths more than the Iraq War, which is crazy to me. Their homicide per capita rate is 3 times higher than Los Angeles and 5 times higher than New York. And if you didn't hear J.D. Pritzker say this, the governor of the state, when asked, hey, would you let your family go through Chicago at night? He said something along the lines of, well, all big cities have crime. You know, like, it's normal. No. Why are we adjusting our level of normal to be a one where a city has 40 or 54 shootings in one Labor Day weekend? Why is that normal? That should not be the normal. And I hope to God that Trump comes in and saves the lives of these young kids on the streets who are getting shot and dying.
Yeah, I didn't hear that from J.B. Pritzker, probably because he had a big piece of cake in his mouth while he's trying to spit it out. But yeah, I guess I'll go back and watch it again and see if I can hear him say that. Ari, even libs now, like, I think I watched Morning Joe Scarborough say, hey, you guys should be asking for federal help. This is a terrible situation you've got going on in Chicago. Do you think there might be some amount of overwhelming, like, this sane libs versus the crazy TDS libs to actually, you know, kind of flip the script a little bit?
Yes and no, because at the end of the day, they'll still vote for anybody who has a D next to their name, as we found out in Seattle time again, unfortunately. But here's something else. What the DC experiment, for lack of a better word, has shown us is that being a crime-ridden, homeless utopia of drug addicts that are funded by the taxpayers is a choice. They have decided to bring all this chaos to their streets because they could say, if you give us more tax money, we can clean it up. Oh, if you just help us get rid of the guns, we can clean it up. Oh, we just need affordable housing and we can clean it up. All of this is just a grift to get more money from the taxpayers, and it's working. It's working so well, as a matter of fact. Yeah, a city like Bozeman, Montana is now having homeless problems. Why? Because they imported the problem because they saw how much money you can get by doing this kind of stuff. Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, they have mastered it, absolutely mastered it. And now the small cities are saying, why don't we do the same thing? That's why you're seeing this spread so rampantly. And you can now tell that this was a choice by these cities based on what we're seeing in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's either woke, crazy lunacy or kind of like these slithering politicians trying to work their way into more revenue. You know what is definitely woke insanity is what's going on over at CBS, which I thought this was really interesting. So Paramount, who owns CBS, has agreed to buy the Free Press. And I recognize we're reporting on news, but I do think this is fascinating considering the culture in the newsroom over at CBS. They're going to buy the Free Press, which is Barry Weiss's operation, for $200 million. And Barry Weiss is going to get a seat at the head of the CBS News division. Now, the reason this is interesting is because the CBS newsroom is apparently, let me get the verbiage correctly. CBS News staffers are apoplectic over Barry Weiss's imminent arrival. Barry Weiss, you can agree with her, you can disagree with her on a lot of different things. She's a fervent defender of Western society, and I don't believe that she's lying to me. Ari, why is somebody like that, who probably leans to the left on a bunch of different issues, such a threat to CBS and their definitely non-biased news reporting over there?
Well, let's remember that Barry Weiss used to be one of the editors over at the New York Times.
Yeah.
And left because they got too insane even for her. She started her website to be all kinds of views, to say we're going to have people from the left and people from the right. But she is very much a liberal. She defends classic Western values, as you said. And a lot of the points of contention actually appear to be that she supports Israel. Oh, no, supporting the only democracy in the Middle East as opposed to a terrorist organization. So CBS, right now, they've had loss after loss after loss. They got busted editing footage. They have news problems all the time. God forbid they bring in an organization as successful as the Free Press that actually does the news, that people actually want to watch and read and listen to. But this shows the bias of their own CBS newsroom. They don't want that. They want their political partisanship. They want their talking points, and they don't want anybody in there because apparently Barry Weiss isn't left enough for them. So here, Paramount, CBS is making a good strategic move, and they don't want it because they want to keep doing things the way they've done, which have been a colossal failure and lost millions, if not billions of dollars at this point for the company.
Yeah, it's I'm super fascinated to see how that pans out. Jillian, to kind of like go in like the weeds of this. Anytime I think CBS, I think Stephen Colbert is leaving. I'm super curious if he actually lasts the rest of his contract or if something like this gets him to resign to make a point. Do you think, and again, I recognize this is like a single individual, do you think Stephen Colbert will at some point, in order to make a political point of his choosing, will just storm out of the office and resign knowing that he's not going to be, his show's getting canceled anyway?
I think with the paycheck that he's getting, he should totally ride it out because he can ride it out with no guardrail. He can say whatever he wants till he does get, till he's off air, and he's going to make all the money in the world, then make more money when he starts his own podcast or spinoff or whatever it is. But I mean, all these points are great. I'm just surprised after, bad edit after bad edit, and CBS getting busted. To your point, they still even have, a pathway to do news. Like that card should have been revoked a while ago, and maybe they wouldn't get lawsuits against them when they're meddling in elections. This is a very, very smart move for them.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to you and the viewers for not putting air quotes around CBS News division. So I'll keep that in mind to do that going forward. Ari, Jillian, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up next here on Turning Point tonight, got an awesome clip from Alex Clark's Culture Apothecary podcast. You can also email the show, tpt@tpusa.com. You can email whether you agree with everything that was just said or you're wrong. Doesn't matter. We love seeing your emails, tpt@tpusa.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing. There's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the Garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
What are some of your hottest takes right now on why Americans cannot get healthy?
Because everyone thinks they have a caffeine deficiency, and a caffeine deficiency literally does not exist. We are literally fueling ourselves with so much caffeine. Like, you're starting your day with a cup of coffee that's poured with like 14 pumps of syrup, and that's what people think is getting them through the day, and it's all just false energy. People are just depleted.
Do we need to be having something else first thing in the morning?
A meal? Like, that's like what actually fuels people in the morning. Like, we were just literally thinking that just consuming so much caffeine, like first thing in the morning, like America literally runs on Dunkin', you know, like that is the slogan, you know?
That grosses me out. Those videos that Bobby Flav City or whatever Bobby Parrish does, where he does, and it's just, he shows like how much sugar is in, the whole thing is just sugar.
Yeah.
And like a teeny tiny smidge of water. It's basically a cup of all sugar.
Yeah. And everybody's drinking energy drinks, and everybody's, because if it's not everyone's like, oh, well, I don't really drink coffee. And then they're downing like 4 or 5 energy drinks a day, or like even one, really. Like, if you feel like you need energy drinks or just any sort of caffeine, and some energy drinks can have 250 milligrams of caffeine. That's way more than an average cup of coffee that you can make at home, which is about like 80 to 90 milligrams.
What is wrong with energy drinks?
A lot of things. I mean, the first thing is you're giving yourself a false sense of energy by just like spiking your cortisol. So the first thing that you do when you wake up, and you're supposed to actually gradually increase your cortisol as you wake up. So that's why you're not going to wake up like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like, it should be like a very slow nervous system reset as you wake up. So people want to prematurely spike that, and then it's going to cause a crash later on in the day. That's just always what happens. So people are dreading their lives by 1, 2 o'clock, and then they need either another cup of coffee, or they try to switch it up and they do an energy drink, which is much stronger. And the second thing is the ingredients in them are absolutely horrific. It's almost like drinking a soda, or it's really soda with like added caffeine. So you have brands that will add artificial sweeteners like sucralose and Ace K, and they'll act like this is just so gut friendly and good for you, and it's the best way to get energy in the middle of the day, when in reality we're actually increasing people's cravings. And we're completely ruining their gut microbiome.
So it's actually possible that energy drinks could be making you fat.
In a weird way, yeah.
Because it's increasing your cravings and needing other things.
Yeah, I mean, anything, for me, my real hot take is that any brand that is claiming it's a wellness brand should not have any type of artificial sweeteners in their products at all.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, but you have brands, for example, there's a huge brand right now that has a very popular quote unquote wellness brand with a very popular quote unquote podcast. And they have been claiming for years that they're a wellness brand. It's splattered all over their website. It literally says, join the wellness club, and this is your wellness stack, and wellness this and wellness that. And almost all of their products are laden with artificial sweeteners. And
really?
People are being lied to.
And nobody calls them out on this?
Well, I did, and I got severely punished for it.
What do you mean severely punished?
So there was a situation where I've been following this brand for a while because it's always brought up. I've been doing product reviews for 6 years now. So people always send me brands and they'll say, hey, is this brand really clean? Mm-hmm. And most of the time I'm like, no, because most things that are marketed as clean usually aren't. So this was one brand that I kept seeing over and over again because, of course, with a wellness podcast and you have all these big names in the wellness industry, you're going to assume that this person knows what they're talking about and this person knows what they're doing, right? Like, that's just good marketing, right? But unfortunately, if you look a little deeper, there was a situation where on this podcast, they had someone show up on the podcast and the interviewer asked, what is the worst ingredient that you can find in a product? And he went on to say titanium dioxide, which, titanium dioxide is a colorant. It's white. It's like how you whiten products. So it's in a lot of supplements. It's a lot of capsules, like anything that's like pressed into a capsule.
Sometimes chicken nuggets.
Sometimes chicken nuggets. And in this case, it was in a protein bar. And this brand that was doing the interview had it in their protein bar that just launched that day.
What?
And meanwhile, they're interviewing this person like, this is the worst ingredient that you could have in any product. So all I did was I screen recorded the podcast and then just put up the ingredients of the protein bar that just launched, pointed to it, and I said, am I missing something? And when I tell you, I've never seen a product get taken off a website so quickly. Like ghost, nothing was said. There was no statement. Nothing was addressed. Anybody that saw my video, because I had like almost like 2 million views on that video, everybody was being blocked from the comment section. So if you were talking about it, you were just being deleted and blocked. So that was the first situation where I was like, this brand.
So they pulled the product though?
They pulled the product at that moment. So they were, but without a trace.
But they didn't reach out to you, be like, hey, you know what? Thanks so much for bringing this to attention. You're totally right. This was a total oversight on our, on our part, and we are making things right, so that you could then post, hey, the brand reached out to me. They are admitted, like, we made a huge mistake. I don't know how this slipped through the cracks. We're redoing it. Nothing. It was just silence.
Silence. Yeah. It was just silently pulled, and I don't even think it's ever come back. I don't think.
Weird.
Yeah. So that was like the first like weirdness. The second weirdness, which I think is even worse in my opinion, but the second situation was they launched an energy drink and they were touting that it's gut healthy. It has apple cider vinegar and it's just good for your gut, like the first of its kind energy drink, right? So they went on their podcast to explain, how they created the energy drink, all the amazing things. And they brought up a study about why because people were asking, why are you guys using sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener, in your energy drink? Like, I thought you were a wellness brand, right? Because a lot of people share the same sentiment as me, as, wellness brands shouldn't have anything artificial, right? I feel like that's pretty baseline. So they were kind of addressing why they chose sucralose. And they decided to use the comparison, like, well, we chose sucralose because we wouldn't want to choose acesulfame potassium, which is kind of like a sucralose sister, right? It's like another artificial sweetener. And they said that Ace K is much worse, and that they stand on the fact that they would not use that artificial sweetener, and that's why they chose sucralose. So what I did was I screen recorded that part of the podcast, and I went on and posted all the other products on their website that contain acesulfame potassium, even though they just claimed that that is the much worse artificial sweetener, and they would stand on the fact that they don't contain, that they wouldn't use that ingredient, but it was already in other products that they were using, just not this current one. So what happened was they pulled that section of the podcast out of the episode, and they kept the rest of the podcast, and they got my video with now millions of views taken down for copyright infringement, because I somehow was able to get video content that wasn't public anymore.
Diabolical. And so then those products were still available?
They're still available today.
Okay. I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt. Is it possible that maybe there is a, separate people in this company who are putting the ingredients together to make the products, and then you've got the owners who are just kind of like public figures and they just don't really know what's going on, and so there's miscommunication where the owner's like, oh, I don't want that ingredient, and then there are other people putting it in, they just don't know? And if so, do you feel like that's negligence? Like, it's your product, you should know about the ingredients?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, because right, it's not just about, not knowing what's in your product, right? Like, I feel like you should. Like, even for my own brand, I have over 600 products. I know like how these products are made. Like, I look at them, and most brands only have like 2 or 3, right? So I think the first thing is that most brands, if you're going to be the face of a company and you're going to tout that you are the founder and this is what you do, you should know your products, and you should at least know how they're sweetened. I feel like that's a pretty common thing, that you should know what's being used. And clearly they do, because you're able to do a whole podcast episode and bring studies, right? That what these ingredients are to an extent. On top of that, sucralose alone has been found to alter the gut microbiome. So touting that an energy drink with this ingredient is gut healthy doesn't really feel accurate to me. And the second part is that it's also recently been found to potentially increase people's cravings. So if you're trying to be on a gut health journey and you're trying to, new wellness brand, and you're trying to, fix your calories and fix your diet, and you're drinking this energy drink every single day, and now your gut is worse, may feel worse, or, your cravings are increasing, you're going to be super confused. So like, that's the first aspect of it is, the research behind why the wellness space doesn't use these ingredients. And the second part too is kind of like, to your point, yeah, maybe there are people in the company that don't reflect the same values maybe as the people at the face of the company. But I think that also comes down to, at the end of the day, how the customers are receiving it. Because to me, I would not want a company that feels like they have to hide the reasonings that they're doing things.
But yeah, I feel like that's an integrity issue.
Yeah, it's big integrity. And especially the wellness space is already filled with so much junk.
America Fest is the starting point for us to take America to greater heights in 2025. We have a team that is ready to change the world and bring America back to greatness.
Experience the greatest celebration of America. 4 days, thousands of patriots, the loudest voices, the strongest leaders, featuring Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Grant Cardone, Rob Schneider, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Glenn Beck, Riley Gaines, Todd Chrisley, Savannah Chrisley, and more. December 18th to 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. The movement meets here. You won't want to miss this. Register now at amfest.com.
Mama, look. It's just like our new house.
Warranty!
I hope you have an American Home Shield warranty. Leaky toilet? Fixed. Clogged AC coils? Fixed. Oven beyond repair? Ta-da! If AHS can't fix your covered item, then replace it, no matter its age.
A warranty is smart.
Oh, a happy family. Is that us? Too much? American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help Rush, a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Welcome back to Turning Point Tonight, where together we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. Remember, you can go to amfest.com. You can get your 50% off of general admission. Again, who gets 50% off of anything? It's a huge deal. You want to go there. Get your tickets to AmFest, happening in December of this year in Phoenix. It is amazing. It's the best event that we do here at Turning Point. I know I've said that all of the events, they're all good, and that's true, but this one's just objectively the best. 50% off amfest.com. You can snag your tickets. You can also email the show, tpt@tpusa.com. Dang it, I meant to bring some memes on. We got some brand new fresh memes. Maybe we'll play those tomorrow, because there's some fun stuff that we want to get to today. But anyways, tpt@tpusa.com. Send us your thoughts on the show. How are we doing? What do you want to see more of? What are some of the stories that we should be covering? Some of the videos that we should be airing on this show in this particular segment, tpt@tpusa.com. So without further ado, we didn't talk much about RFK Jr. testifying in front of Congress today. I imagine there were lots of fireworks that went off there. Maybe we'll hit on it a little bit more, but I would imagine all the other shows have covered that thoroughly. What I wanted to bring up is the former assistant HHS secretary, one Rachel Levine, which, if you remember him, let's just take a look back at the very people that are calling RFK crazy as he testified today. Watch this.
What would you say to folks who think that they're being reasonable by saying, why can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? What if you inside feel that you are female, but now you're going through a male puberty?
The argument is, well, they're too young to know.
I want to make it clear that for prepubertal children, there are no medical procedures done. The standard of care allows them to explore that with therapy. Well, gender-affirming care is medical care. Gender-affirming care is mental health care. Gender-affirming care is literally suicide prevention care.
That's an insane person's take, and I just wanted to play that to again remind everyone, as we're just seeing rhetorical grenades thrown at RFK Jr., especially as he's testifying. There's also a concerted effort, by the way, by libs over the last 2 weeks leading up. They know his testimony is on the calendar, so Senator Sanders wrote an opinion piece in the New York Times saying he must resign. Schumer got on board. It's all coordinated by them. But in that whole process, as we're seeing them berate RFK Jr., just wanted to remind everybody what the department was like not all that long ago. And I know you know, but just fascinating there to see old Richard saying the things that he's saying of, okay, well, I mean, to make one argument on the things that he says, well, it's not happening at that. Okay, if it's not happening, why are you so mad that we're trying to make it illegal? Right? If it's not happening, shouldn't it be okay that it's not allowed to happen? Unless, of course, it is happening, and that's why you actually don't want it to be illegal, which would be a whole different other argument and conversation in and of itself. In the line of the whole trans delusion thing, I thought this video was funny because I thought it was serious the first time I watched it. Then it, you pass 5 seconds, and you're like, oh, they're making a joke. I love seeing stuff like this because, well, I'll explain why afterward. Watch this clip. Definitely a skit, definitely planned, definitely not real, but it illuminates a real point. Check this out.
I think this is like a woman's only song.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the show guys.
Thank God. Yeah.
Like at the very beginning, which is like, I think this is a woman's only sauna, and you pan. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad. And they're like, okay, they're clearly joking. They're clearly all friends. The reason why I think that this is so important is because the truth will win the day through humor, and the devil can't stand to be mocked. I think, oh my gosh, Thomas More said that. If you know his act, great. Part of the whole British tearing down the monarchy. You don't have to go into the history of that, but the words are so true. Evil can't stand to be mocked relentlessly. So that's part of what we have to do as Americans, especially when fighting the lunacy of the left. That's going to do it for us here at Turning Point tonight. Charlie's going to take us out. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. God bless America.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Fellow Americans, did you know a war is being waged right now for how you spend your hard-earned dollars? Over 100 countries worldwide are preparing to switch to a digital currency. Now, this means cash will be replaced by money governments can monitor and track. This tracking makes it possible to collect data from every purchase you make and the ability to decide what you can buy and when you can buy it. What's more, your assets can be frozen or even seized. I'm appalled at such an assault on financial privacy. My friends at Swiss America have a report called The Secret War on Cash with an action plan to protect your financial privacy. So please, call or text the number on your screen for a free copy. With the growing reality of a government-backed digital currency, the time to act is now. So call or text the number on your screen for your free Secret War report.
This right here is confidence in a bottle. It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-800-854-0295.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Okay, everybody, we are here with one of my mentors and teachers, Dr. Larry Arnn.
Proud to be here with such a fine student.
Well, thank you, and I take learning seriously. Hillsdale College, I say it every day on this program, it is America's greatest college.
Yeah, well, it could almost be damning with faint praise, but it is very good, and it has a very powerful sense of itself. It knows what it is for 180 years, and everybody there is committed to that. That's why it's great.
It's great for many reasons, also thanks to your leadership. But speak about is it the bylaws or the constitution of the college is rather short. It's not a big administrative document. Is that right?
It's from 1844. The people who started Hillsdale College were preachers on the frontier from New England, and they were classically educated. You had to know Latin and Greek to enter the college in 1844. Wow. And they were patriotic, learned Americans. So the document begins, the denomination of Christians known as Free Will Baptist, along with other friends of education, grateful to God for the prevalence in the land of civil and religious freedom. See, and intelligent piety, believing sound learning is necessary to preserve these, hereby endow it. So we exist to provide sound learning in support of civil and religious freedom, which is America's gift to the world, by the way, and God's gift to America and America's gift to the world, and intelligent piety. Those are the purposes of Hillsdale College.
What makes your college different than just the everyday college? What, if you were to walk around Hillsdale, which I have, I sense it, I feel it. How do you do this in practice differently?
Well, first of all, it's not part of the national maw of a system today. We don't take the money from the government, which money carries several hundred pages of rules that are impenetrable and difficult to even follow, even to understand. So we don't have that. And then what that liberates us to do is to form a college. It's a word that means partnership. And so the reason Hillsdale gets on and proceeds is because to come to Hillsdale College in any capacity, you must make a commitment to the founding mission of the college. You must agree that the college has a right to pursue the mission, and you will help it. Doesn't mean you can't argue with it. You can argue about anything at Hillsdale College. But you agree that the institution is formed for these purposes, and that is not to be obstructed. And so that means that the first line of Aristotle's Politics is, every community is formed for the sake of some good, right? Well, we have a good that we're formed for, and we follow it. And that means we can cooperate. We can be a college. And, college is a certain kind of thing, a very beautiful kind of thing. And it's not for everybody, but for people who are prepared to suffer, to learn the best things, it's great. You are such a person, by the way, I've discovered. It's the reason I get on with you. That, it takes work.
Yes.
You have to change your mental weather.
Mm-hmm.
You have to forget about yourself to learn the best things. You have to, now I'm going to read this book. And the question on my mind is not what do I think about it yet. The question on my mind is not do I agree with it yet. The question is, what does this say? And what does it mean? And then that's first. And then after that, is it true? Is it good? So that's college, right? And you learn to do that. And you learn to do that in the humanities and in the natural sciences. And it's a wonderful activity, and it's difficult.
What is education?
It comes from a Latin word that means to lead forth. And that means education is the process of our helping the young go forward in the way that they are made to go. The Bible says, train up the child in the ways he's meant to go, right? That's what it means.
And he will not forget.
That's what it means. And you learn, we're freedom guys, you and me, and the truth of human freedom is profoundly revealed in college, in the daily operations in every class, by this fact. You can't learn for them. You can only help them. They have to want to. And so, the first test, when we, take every human achievement, like you have built Turning Point. I've walked around it today for the first time. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
And it is the product of two things that are the cause of every human achievement. You are able and you are willing. And you urgently want to do it, mm-hmm. and you can do it. And this is your thing, right? Now, everybody I've met here, and some dozens, are also willing and able.
Yes.
Everybody's a volunteer. That's why it works.
So now that we've defined what education is, and we could talk at length about how incredible Hillsdale is, let's talk about the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Should that even exist?
No, it's a bad idea.
Why?
Well, first of all, there are many reasons, but the first starts with the nature of education. No, I'll start with the constitutional reason first, because it's actually very important, but it's not the most important. The Constitution of the United States lists 17 things, if I remember the number of paragraphs right, that the federal government may pursue in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and education is not among them.
Well, it says general welfare. That's what they're always... But sorry, go ahead.
Well, not there. It doesn't. Well, it does, actually, at the beginning of Article 1, Section 8. But if the general welfare clause meant that, then the rest of Article 1, Section 8 would be redundant, right? So, yet, in the summer that they were writing the Constitution of the United States, they were passing the Northwest Ordinance. which is one of the 4 organic laws of the United States, and it gave 1/64th of the western lands in the Northwest Territory reserved for only one public purpose: education in each township. Now, that meant that the federal government, and the biggest asset it ever owned, supported education through the states. That's the constitutional arrangement.
Charlie Kirk Show starts now.
Prescription stimulant drugs for children, and there are ways that HHS can work collaboratively with state agencies on this and to actually promote more community-based intervention to combat overprescribing. And we all have seen the harmful side effects, and there's a lot of reporting out there on this and tremendous concern for grandmamas like me who see children and friends of our grandchildren who suffer with this. So I know your team is working on solutions, so you're going to have your Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy that you're going to release. But talk for a moment. We've got 30 seconds left. Talk for a moment on how you can better arm parents with information on the harmful side effects of overprescribing these stimulant drugs.
I mean, one of the problems, Senator, is that, we now have 1 out of every 5 kids on these drugs and the antidepressants, even more. And we know very little about the long-term impacts because NIH and CDC have been asleep at the wheel. Right now, we are doing those studies. We're doing extensive studies so that we can warn parents and so that we can force the companies to put labels on their products. And, we'll do whatever we can to show that, just to get data out to the public. That's really what our function is. And to show what the long-term impact of some of these drugs is. Are we actually preventing suicide or are we creating more suicide? And that's something that we don't know the answer to, which is, how did these drugs become so common in our society without us even knowing the answer to those questions? That is malpractice at these agencies, and that is the malpractice that I am going to fix.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So last November, while you were under consideration to become Secretary of Health and Human Services, Mr. Kennedy, you said, quote, if vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. You would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. Then last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. So let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it, Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
That is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Colvett in for the one and only Charlie Kirk, who's on assignment today. He's traveling abroad, but don't fear, we have some Charlie Kirk content coming at you in the second hour that we prepared just for this very day. I'm going to get right into it. We are blessed by an amazing first guest of this show, a true patriot of this country, Senator Eric Schmitt from the great state of Missouri. Senator, you and I were watching that exchange just before we took the air of Senator Kennedy, or Secretary Kennedy, going toe-to-toe with Senator Liz Warren like it's 2022, arguing about the COVID vaccine. And we don't have the clip just yet, but I mean, it was an amazing exchange. You and I could see us laughing on the call before it. So, he throws the gauntlet down, and I think it's very central to this whole committee hearing where he says, you've taken over $850,000 from Big Pharma. And it seems like one of the big dividing lines here, the points of argument, is that we're talking about institutional capture of the medical establishment in this country, and it seems like some people still trust these people, while it seems like the vast majority of Americans have grown skeptical of what they're selling. Your take on this committee hearing, and then I want to get into your NatCon speech.
Yeah, look, I think Maha is rising, and for good reason, because I think what the American people saw, particularly during COVID, the lies that were peddled by the medical establishment, by the CDC, by all these public health officials who, on one hand said you couldn't go outside, but it was okay to riot at a Black Lives Matter protest. That's okay. I mean, they lost complete credibility And what RFK Jr. is trying to do, what the Trump administration is trying to do, is restore the credibility by telling the American people the truth, giving them information, letting them make their own decisions, actually run this agency how it should be run. And he's challenging people who aren't being, used to being challenged. And good for him, because the talking points are, they've been out there forever. But the truth is the American people were lied to. Let's just take the COVID vaccine. First of all, it should have never been mandatory. In my book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court, I actually note this. We took the vaccine mandate case all the way to the Supreme Court, and we won. It should have never been mandated. But also, we were lied to. At first, it was going to prevent you getting COVID at all. Then it was you're going to prevent transmission. Neither one of those things were true. And so I think that American people have good reason after COVID to be very skeptical of these so-called experts. And I think RFK Jr. was brought in to be a disruptor, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, well said. I mean, and by the way, I'm remiss for not mentioning your book. I mean, it just came out, Last Line of Defense. You were the vanguard of our legal defense for patriots in this country that felt left out, pushed aside, marginalized, or attacked and harassed by the Biden administration. You did such great work there. And so, by all means, please take another moment here. Last Line of Defense, tell the audience about it. And I love the tie-in to what we're seeing right now play out in the Senate floor. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, look, COVID was an example where power doesn't necessarily corrupt, but it does reveal. And what we saw during COVID was something I could have never imagined in this country. And so when we stepped up, when we brought those lawsuits, we sued on the vaccine mandate, we won. We sued 50-plus school districts in Missouri to drop their mask mandates for kids, even because it wasn't effective, and we were successful. We brought the Missouri versus Biden lawsuit that exposed the censorship enterprise that included the COVID, misinformation or malinformation they were trying to censor. In fact, the censorship operation started on day 3 of the Biden administration, and ironically, RFK Jr. was the first one censored. Another guy that was caught up in all that by Anthony Fauci, who we took the deposition of, that you can read about in the book, was Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who talked about natural immunity. Fauci wanted to destroy his career, but now he's head of the NIH. So I think what's good right now is the rebels, and I would include myself as one of those during that time, RFK Jr., Jay Bhattacharya, many more, are now inside of the castle, and they don't like it. And there's a lot of disruption and a lot of table flipping that needs to happen, and not everybody's going to like it, and that's kind of what's going on with this hearing today with RFK Jr., but we need it badly. Well,
Senator, as you well know, when you exercise the demons, they tend to screech. So I'm watching this hearing with great intrigue and entertainment, and I need my popcorn emoji somewhere nearby. Senator, I actually wanted you to come on the show with Charlie, so I'm honored that I get to be the guest host today for this, because I just have to show this image for everybody. It's too good. Here it is. It is 4:35. Put it up. You are catching some heat here because your NatCon speech. You have MSNBC columnist Senator Eric Schmidt lets his extremist flag fly in racist speech at NatCon. I'll be honest, I saw a bunch of the clips from your NatCon speech, and I was standing up, I was clapping. It was just pitch perfect, Senator. And especially some of the lines that you had on the H-1B visa scam, and it is a scam. And I'm going to play this clip, and I'll let you be the judge in the audience. Is this an extremist flag flying? Is it a racist speech? Or is it just common sense? Let's go ahead and play cut 428.
The H-1B visa, for example, was sold as a way to keep America globally competitive. Of course, we do have an interest in attracting the truly exceptional few, the very best and the brightest in the world. But that's not how programs like H-1B have actually functioned. Instead, they've imported a vast new labor force from abroad, not to fill jobs Americans can't or won't do, but to undercut American wages, replace American workers, and transfer entire industries into the hands of foreign lobbies. We've funneled in millions of foreign nationals to take the jobs, salaries, and futures that should belong to our own children.
Now, Senator, this speech, which is, by the way, it's gotten rave reviews. I've seen everybody praising it. I mean, you're just pitch perfect on this speech. it coincides with some of this back and forth with India. Now, we know that there's about 400,000 H-1B visas issued or renewed every year, and about 75% of those go to India, mainly in high tech, mainly in high-skilled white-collar jobs. And there's complete neighborhoods, by the way. I was just in Dallas, I was in Frisco, and I had to go to the store in Frisco, and it is basically an Indian colony at this point. I mean, God bless them. They work hard. They do good work. But that community has transformed overnight. Those jobs are no longer held by native-born Americans. Please, the floor is yours. What are you seeing in this issue? Is there motivation on Capitol Hill to address H-1Bs?
Well, first of all, the reason why the left is going crazy over the speech is because we unapologetically proclaim that America's a great place, and we're not going to apologize for it anymore. The people that built this country, we should celebrate them. America is the vanguard for Western civilization. We settled a continent. We sent people to the moon. I mean, there's all these great things that we have done in this country that the left wants us to undermine and despise because they want to remake America. And the only way you do that is if you tell a different story about who we are. And that's what CRT is all about. That's what DEI is all about. It's what this neo-Marxist, cultural Marxism agenda is all about. And they can't get there if we actually are proud of our country. And that's what the speech was. And they just don't like hearing that. Because for a long time, I think they've had a lot of people in retreat on defending America. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to back down. I love this country. I love America. And I know that the people who watch this show, listen to the show, they love America too. And you know what? We're not going to apologize for that anymore. So anyway, that's on the speech. As relates to the H-1B program in particular, look, it's not all that different than what happened with blue-collar jobs, this slow-moving disaster over a period of decades where the elites told us, in the name of free trade, not, forgetting all the barriers that exist in other places, it's going to be good for you if we ship all your jobs overseas. And then the blue-collar workers that I grew up around were then looking for jobs, and then guess what? Through mass migration, illegal immigration, they, destroyed the wages of those other jobs that people look for. That's kind of what's happening right now with white-collar jobs. They're kneecapping white-collar jobs by, look, I mentioned there is a need for the exceptional few. There's no doubt about that. But here's what's really happening. We're importing a bunch of people to undercut the wages of white-collar workers now, and they actually have to train their replacements. In order to get their severance package, they have to go through the humiliating process of training their replacement who's going to get paid less. And we have plenty of people in this country who can do those jobs. Yeah. And in fact, anyway, we ought to be focused
I'm
on
going to keep you over the break just for a few minutes here, Senator. I know you got to go after that. More with Senator Eric Schmitt when we get right back.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product, so I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 Steam Mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-855-0295.
100% American made. And darn proud of it. The Charlie Kirk Show.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. This is Andrew Colvett in for the one and only Charlie Kirk. What a fun show. Eric Schmidt's just the best. I'm going to tell you quickly about YRefi, and then we're going to get back to the hearing with RFK Jr. Private student loan debt in the United States totals about $300 billion. About $45 billion of that is labeled as distressed. YRefi refinances distressed or defaulted private student loans that others won't even touch. They provide you with a custom loan amount based on your ability to pay a loan payment. YRefi is not a debt settlement company, and they work with each borrower individually, tailoring the solution to your ability to pay and the timing. They even let you miss a few payments here and then without a penalty. YRefi.com is an amazing, amazing partner of this show. They're also an amazing partner of Turning Point USA. We're about to launch another campus tour with Charlie going all across the country. YRefi is the partner that's helping fund that and make that happen. And you guys know the impact that has. So not only are they helping student loans and helping people with private student loan refinance or come up with a solution to get that off your back, they're actually putting their money where their mouth is and helping us go out on tour all across the country. So please check out YRefi.com or call today 888-YRefi34. That's YREFY. And that is 888-YRefi34, or go to YRefi.com to find out more. We're going to take that RFK hearing in just a second. It's a very explosive hearing, lots going on, but essentially just know this. There is institutional capture in our government. And what that means is big pharma and big medicine and big food. They hire the regulators. It's a revolving door. The regulators come out of those industries. Then they go into government to regulate those industries the way that those industries want to be regulated. It's an incumbent advantage. It's crony capitalism. It's not free market. It's not in what's your best interest. And then sometimes they go back into those industries when they're done with government. And RFK's calling them out. So we'll take that in just a second. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. I just have to play this clip, and I believe this is the right one. I think this is the right one. Let's go ahead and play cut 439.
Last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it, Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost.
So that wasn't the best part of that clip, but it's fine. They end up getting into this explosive back and forth about essentially how Liz Warren is taking nearly $1 million from Big Pharma, and she's basically a Pfizer board member at this point. And they go back and forth because what RFK Jr. is saying is absolutely spot on. He's not telling anybody that they can't get the COVID shot if they want to. All he's saying is that it is no longer recommended. And yeah, maybe there's a little bit of state by state issues in which but here's the problem. This is not 2022. If you want to go get a COVID shot, go get a COVID shot. The United States government does not need to be supplementing that. They do not need to be subsidizing that payment. There is no pandemic. There is no urgency. This is a absolute straw man argument. I can't stand it from Liz Warren. She's a disgusting senator, in my humble opinion. And by the way, she's just so shrill. It's so hard to listen to her. I can't stand it. Let's go one more here. I think maybe this is the one. We'll see what clip this is. 437.
Are you saying that a mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
I'm asking the questions.
I asked you a question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
All right, so Senator Moderna is really upset that a board that oversees vaccines has been replaced because, once again, it was Big Pharma, institutional capture that was, previously on that board. And RFK saying, for the first time, we're actually going to get all this bias, all this politicization, all this money out of our medical establishment. And here's 440. This is another good clip, but these are just fantastic. 440.
Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy
free. The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
My favorite part, and he'll probably get trolled from the left, but my favorite part is, he's got this speech kind of issue with his throat. It's some nerve condition, and he's just sitting on the mic kind of breathing, like you hear him like he's just growling at them. He's just like really upset, and I find that really enjoying. But RFK is not playing around today. Like, he's not putting up with this garbage anymore, because you've got like the Pfizer board questioning him why he's not endorsing their products anymore, and he's saying there's no clinical justification to recommend the COVID shot to healthy individuals under 65, which is something we've been saying, we've been thinking, we've had multiple doctors on this show saying this since 2021, and yet here we are. So, where's the empirical data, Senator Warren? You want everybody to have this COVID shot so that that Pfizer can keep, its stock price can keep shooting up like it did during COVID? No, thank you. It's time to get transparency. It's time to get institutional capture out of Washington, D.C., and RFK is delivering that. We have his back 100%, 100 and extra %. We'll be right back.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry and put away. Copperhead. It's the hose that grows and pivots, flexes, and sprays. It puts itself away for another day. The Pocket Hose is so unique and so innovative, it was awarded over 100 patents. Call or go online now to get the Superlight 25-foot Pocket Hose Copperhead today for only $39.99. But wait, order right now and you'll receive an instant $10 discount. So it's only $29.99. And it gets better. Order right now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. A $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot Copperhead. Plus, Copperhead comes with a full 10-year warranty. It's that durable. That means you can order right now with total confidence. But this special offer is not available in stores or on Amazon. So order right here, right now. And with rising costs, this may be your last chance at this low price. There is a strict limit of 3 per order. So don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-957-6191 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-957-6191 or visit getcopperhead.com. Order now.
As President Trump works to end deadly wars that are happening across the globe, he is simultaneously mounting a war against narco terrorists in Latin America. Both Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio say that military operations against cartels will continue following Tuesday's strike on a Venezuelan boat that was allegedly carrying illegal drugs. 11 people were killed as the president and other top administration officials watched the order being carried out, as you can see here.
We're sealing the border, but President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been, and to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela. We're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our people. We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region. And so you want to try to traffic drugs? It's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
And in other headlines, Florida is set to become the first state to end all state vaccine mandates. The move includes vaccine rules for kids to attend schools.
It's wrong. It's immoral. They do not have the right to tell you what you put in your body. People have a right to make their own decisions, informed decisions. You want to put, whatever different vaccines in your body, God bless you. I hope you make an informed decision. You don't want to put whatever vaccines in your body, God bless you. And I hope you make an informed decision.
Governor Ron DeSantis says the effort coincides with the establishment of the Florida MAHA Commission. He describes it as a working group that will recommend state-level integration of Make America Healthy Again principles, including individual medical freedom and parent rights. Initially, the Florida Department of Health plans to roll back mandates on about a half dozen vaccines under its authority. Beyond that, the department will work with the Republican-majority Florida legislature on a broader package of reforms. Well, that's going to do it for your headlines. As always, we appreciate having you along for the ride. I'm Terrence Bates. Now, let's get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
lives.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Colvett in for Charlie Kirk, who's on assignment. Welcome back to the Bitcoin.com mobile studio. I got a great guest up next, but before we get to John Levine from the Washington Free Beacon, I'm going to tell you about Hillsdale College. History, economics, the great works of literature. Did you study these things in school? Probably not, but even if you did, it's probably time for a refresher course. Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses, including their newest course on totalitarian novels. In this free 8-lecture course, you'll learn from Hillsdale College president Larry Arnn as he goes in-depth on 4 incredibly important novels: 1984, Brave New World, Darkness at Noon, and That Hideous Strength. Even though these novels were written in the 1930s and 40s, they're more relevant now than probably they've ever been before. More importantly, they can show us that faith, family, and friends and country are worth fighting for. Maybe you read these books a long time ago. Maybe you've heard others talk about them and they seem a little intimidating. Let Hillsdale College help you make the most of them. Go right now to charlieforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. They're super high quality, really enjoyable. I've been taking them. That's charlieforhillsdale.com to register, CHARLIE for Hillsdale.com to find out more. All right, without further ado, John Levine from the Washington Free Beacon. John, welcome to the show. You have been a mainstay in the media world for many, many years. I've run into you multiple times over the years. You do fantastic work. You're always at the sort of front end of where the news cycle is going. And I thought you would just be perfect for this because Bari Weiss, formerly of the New York Times, she was an opinion editor at the New York Times. Then she leaves and starts the Free Press. And this is making a lot of news now in media circles, and I think it's worth diving into what does it all mean, because now we're hearing that Paramount, CBS, is buying her company for an undisclosed amount, but we know it's about maybe between $1 and $200 million. I mean, it feels like she just started the Free Press like 2 days ago, and she's now selling it for $1 to $200 million. Tell us about, Bari, you like Bari. Tell us about Bari Weiss, what the mission of the Free Press was, and why this is important in the media landscape space.
Well, I mean, Bari is someone that comes out of opinion journalism. Before the New York Times, she was at the Wall Street Journal, and then she went to the Times to, I think, have slightly more conservative voices there. And from what I recall, it was just a very terrible experience. All of her colleagues kind of ganged up on her and they wouldn't talk to her. It was very high school type stuff. And she frequently, she would publish stuff and then she would face online harassment from her own colleagues in public. And the Times, of course, didn't really stand up for her. They never disciplined any of the offenders. And eventually she left and started her own thing, the Free Press. And that was, I believe, 2022. And now, 2 years later, it's worth $200 million, which I think is an incredible testament to what she's been able to accomplish in such a short time. And also about the gaping hole in the journalism marketplace that she identified and filled with, I think, very necessary content. And I'm not going to sit here and say I love every single thing the Free Press has ever published, but it's really good stuff for the most part, and I'm not surprised at all to see Paramount willing to pay this 9-figure sum.
Yeah, and what they're really buying is the trust that Bari has cultivated. Now, I see some people hating on this. There's a little, people are suggesting it's not worth that. Maybe it's not, but what you're buying, to your point, John, is maybe not a revenue stream. I don't know what Free Press revenues. I have no idea about their books. But what you're buying is that filling in that gaping hole, right? Because you've got somebody with the pedigree of a Wall Street Journal and a New York Times. I mean, I don't think I don't know Bari on a personal level at all. But I did get a couple calls from her over the years, inviting Charlie to write certain things. We ended up passing on them. It wasn't the right fit. But even the fact that if you think back, at the time we were in when I got those calls, it was a remarkable thing to get a call from the New York Times and invite Charlie to do sort of like a guest column or something like that. Again, it was the wrong topic. It was the wrong fit. But I still noted that. I logged it. I said, geez, she's out there at this establishment press institution inviting outside voices to participate in something that, the Gray Lady, the paper of record. That was a really big deal. And to your point, if people don't believe this is real, this kind of high school activity that happens in the newsrooms, it's very, very real. It's very real on college campuses. The few professors that we know that are conservatives, they get completely ostracized. They get put in a corner. They're not invited to social gatherings. I mean, it's really petty stuff. But again, the big takeaway here, though, John, is that she's filling a gap with CBS. She's going to now run CBS's newsroom. How big of a deal is that? Or at least she's going to have
I think part of what makes, it's a huge deal. I mean, Barry, there's a lot of big, media culture war divides that, I'll be frank, I think Barry's on the right side of. Are we going to put out fake accusations about Israel committing genocide or perpetrating a famine? This is not happening. This is not true. And every time they find some activist or some organization to insist this is happening, it turns out it's bogus, it's Qatar funded, it's whatever. And Barry's been on the front lines of ensuring that only accurate information has come out on the current war in Gaza, which I know is why a lot of people are very, very upset with her and opposed to her on the other side. And you're seeing a lot of false allegations about the free press all the time. But it's a big deal because when CBS acquires the Free Press and puts her in charge of the newsroom, it gives the imprimatur of a major media organization on the work she does. And it's going to have a tremendous impact on the landscape of media in our country. And I think part of what makes the Free Press so valuable is the people, is the subscribers. I don't know how many subscribers Barry has, but it's probably in the hundreds of thousands, if not more. Wow. And these are educated, sophisticated people. They're people who probably have money to spend. And they're people that CBS wants to add to their broader audience, no question.
Yeah, what do you think this says about kind of how the world has turned, John? I mean, like I said, you've been around the media landscape for a long time now. You've seen the different iterations, the different vibe shifts that have happened. And, then you have this huge event on November 5th, 2024. President Trump wins the popular vote, wins in an electoral landslide, and you have all these media groups, whether it be CNN, their ratings are in the tank, MSNBC, similar situation, Fox News is going strong, Real America's Voice, The Charlie Kirk Show, we're going strong, Salem Radio Network that we're also on going strong. What is happening? And what is is this the first domino to fall? I mean, I saw you post a funny meme on Twitter about, the dominoes falling, and it's like Senator Cotton wants that op-ed about, I actually forget, it was something about the National Guard. Send in the troops, yeah. And it caused this huge, maybe go back to that moment, John, of that Senator Cotton op-ed, and then the meme is that she now becomes president someday, which I think we're maybe getting a little ahead of ourselves. But
I don't know. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead of the script. Right now, she's only in charge of CBS News. Yeah, I think, look, as to what you just said, all the mainstream institutions, the ratings are in the toilet. Nobody's reading them. Nobody's watching them. The Washington Post, I don't even know anyone reading the Washington Post anymore. They have no subscribers left. And the people who are going strong and gaining audience are Fox, Real America's Voice, Charlie Kirk, and these alternative spaces. And I think Barry recognized that there were a lot of people, a lot of smart people, who aren't necessarily like rabid right-wing people, but they know they're being lied to by the mainstream groups and the official media, because enough has sort of percolated out on alternative media like your show and others, where a lot of smart people are like, wait a minute, why is CNN still saying this? I know this is not true because I saw this video and I know this isn't true. I know I'm being lied to. And there's no trust in media anymore. And there is such a hunger for trustworthy new voices. And I think that Barry just has a lot of credibility. The Free Press has a lot of credibility in that space. And so much of what they publish is just debunking false narratives in mainstream press. And they do it in a very tasteful way, a very thoughtful way. Like they did a story on they say, Gaza is in famine, and they have all these, the press, most of the mainstream media has been showing all these photos of these children who allegedly are victims of famine, but every single one of them is suffering from some muscular disease, which causes them to have, an appearance that might be misconstrued as famine. And Barry the Free Press took that narrative apart so expertly. And they do things like that really cut through so much of the media bullshit, and it provides such a valuable service. And I'm so happy for Barry, and I'm so happy for all of the liberal tears that I have been personally witnessing on social media. And I want more of them. They give me life.
They energize us. Yes, they're our life source. So yeah, I mean, the Free Press kind of strikes me almost as like a right of center, or maybe just center. I mean, I do think they try and kind of go right down the middle, like almost like an NPR vibe. But it's just like right down the center. It is kind of thoughtful. It's written by educated people, but that haven't lost their damn minds.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a rabid right wing or left. It really is a centrist publication, and I really think that like the real silent majority in our country is just normal people who don't want a screamer on either end.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, listen, as a hardened partisan who has a very clear vision for what I want to happen in this country, I can appreciate the fact that we need centrist voices to sort of call balls and strikes. Even, speaking of which, Tom Cotton is a guy that we have serious foreign policy disagreements. I mean, Tom Cotton hasn't seen a foreign conflict he doesn't think America needs to bomb or, invade. But Tom Cotton is really good on crime. He's really good on domestic crime issues. And he, by the way, he's going to be proven right and vindicated on some of the stuff that happened even in Trump 1.0, I think. But so this all started. Now go back. We got a minute and a half here, John. What was this op-ed that kind of started this whole domino effect with Tom Cotton?
Tom Cotton op-ed was, I believe, was called "Send in the Troops," and it was calling on President Trump in the first term to send in the National Guard to quell BLM rioting in American cities. And this caused, I think Barry may have already left the New York Times by this point, but it caused this firestorm in the newsroom about this is putting black people in danger, and Nicole Hannah-Jones of 1619 fame led the charge to criticize the paper publicly. This public staff revolt, and the Times, after initially defending the op-ed, did a complete 180. I think there's now an editor's note that's longer than the op-ed. It's still online. I urge you all to Google it. And they ultimately ended up getting rid of several people in the op-ed department, and not even conservatives. I forget his name, but the op-ed editor at the time had to go. He went to The Economist, and Adam Rubinstein was a great guy. He was forced out, and there was all this upheaval. Yeah, and it was this weird seminal moment, which no one even really remembers anymore, but
no, it's fascinating. I mean, it was a newsroom tantrum by a bunch of millennials and Gen Zers that a sitting U.S. senator had the gall to write an op-ed. I mean, just amazing. Right. More with John Levine when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help Rush, a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
The voice of generations is The Charlie Kirk Show.
You guys know how it works. Open mic. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so get comfortable. So you would get rid of all borders. Yes. What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human. But
therefore, they should have human rights.
No!
He's a liar. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself, not about the other people. It's very clear by how you're acting. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day. You are doing something that is bigger than you. A lot of people. How are we doing?
I'm on the move like a runaway. No turning back, I pick up the pace. I do not care what the others say. Listen, I told you that I did not come to play. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive. Today is the dawn of a new, and I'm about to shovel. Now they cannot hold me down. When you will win, then you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose.
All right, that's AmericanComebackTour.com. The tour is starting next week. I can't wait. We're going to have so many new clips to show all of you. Those clips go viral, literally billions of views. That's why Charlie's in like South Park and stuff. All right. I'd like to be able to say that it's this show that is responsible for all that. It does contribute, but those clips, I will tell you. So John Levine from the Washington Free Beacon, please, before we have Radio Rejoin, tell us how people can follow you, what work you're currently engaged in. So the floor is yours, my friend.
I am reachable at Levine Jonathan on X. It's Levine like Adam Levine and Jonathan, Jonathan. It's my full name, Jonathan. And I'm working on a lot of different stuff, investigations mostly now for the Washington Free Beacon. Do a lot of work on Democrats, do a lot of work on nonprofits and woke stuff, DEI, universities. And, anything that's not right. So, if there's anything happening in your life, in your world, you work in government and you're listening to this and something's not the way it should be, I'm very, very available.
Yes. Send your scoops to John. He's trustworthy. He does great work. And it's like Washington Free Beacon Day at the Charlie Kirk Show. I'll tell you why when we get back. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show here at the Bitcoin.com mobile studio. Charlie's on assignment, but don't worry, because in hour 2, Charlie's going to be back, and he's going to be interviewing Aaron Sibarium, also from the Washington Free Beacon. I don't know that we've ever had a Washington Free Beacon reporter on the show, and today we have 2. I don't know how that works.
Well,
I don't know how that works. Yeah, but you beat him, John. This is we pre-recorded that, but you somehow managed to beat him. So you can rub that in his face. So, John, I wanted to also talk to you about this because you're in media, you're in speech, your institution is enshrined in the Constitution, and our friends from across the pond are having quite the little blow up. A comedian, Graham Linehan, was arrested when he gets back into the UK at the airport by 5 armed officers. And apparently this is for his anti-transgender comments that he's made. Three tweets in particular we can bring up. First thoughts, why is this such a big deal? Explain what's happening here, John.
I mean, he went against the woke orthodoxies. He tweeted critically of trans. And he was met at the airport by five armed security guards who proceeded to take him into custody. I mean, this is exactly what Vice President Vance was talking about when he went to Europe. There is a crisis of free speech and free expression out there. We have a First Amendment in our country. We take that for granted. They don't have those protections in Europe. You make a tweet that the board of Twitter doesn't like in England or something, and you get arrested. And while this is happening, mind you, churches are being burned down. in England and across the continent of Europe, and we never hear about it. There are grooming gangs running wild in the UK, which are only rarely ever reported on, and only at great effort. And official authorities try to obfuscate news about that coming out. You know, you have.
Well, John, let me pause you right there, because again, you're the media expert here. This story was the grooming gang specifically was largely an Elon Musk enterprise to kind of popularize it, but there was reporting on that. Explain some of these brave people within the UK that have been trying to blow the whistle on this for years.
The will of ordinary people to report on things like grooming gangs and the church fires and a lot of other issues happening in Europe is out there. It's just the official institutions make it so difficult. And even just to get things like court records in the UK are so much more difficult than in the United States. They make it very, very hard to just get the fundamental piece. You can't run out with stuff you don't know, but they make it very, very hard to get official confirmation on anything. And the authorities appear to go to great lengths to defend, or at least shield from accountability,
a lot of remarkable
offenders, while 5 armed officers are arresting a comedian for tweets. So England is in a very, very bad way, and it really. You know, I love the United Kingdom. I'm a huge Anglophile.
Me too.
It pains me to see that country subverting itself and turning its back on so many of its founding principles and institutions, many of which we just copied in our country. So I really hope they can get their act together.
Yeah, so let's throw up some of the tweets in question. Let's go put in 412 right in the center there. This is from Grand Linehan. Again, he's a comedian. He's transgressive by nature, right? He says, if a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. This is a fact. There's literally nothing wrong with what he said. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. which is funny.
Look, I mean, I can figure out why he probably what part of the tweet got him in trouble. But at the end of the day, it's like, are we really arresting people with 5 officers for that? And it speaks to a question of priorities for that country.
Oh, and, I mean,
it is a violent act. I don't support anyone committing violence against anybody, but like, it is a violent act to be a man
honestly,
in a woman's face like that.
Well, it reminds me of something Charlie got into some hot water for at one point, where he basically said, listen, where are the dads protecting their daughters? And he was saying, hey, back in the 1950s, you would have had a line of dads blocking the bathroom or the locker room, keeping people out. He wasn't calling for violence, but listen, he was saying, listen, there is a point where culture has had enough, and we, the people, must stand up and do that. That is a uniquely American phenomenon, by the way, where we take things into our own hands. When we settled the West, we didn't have, institutions there to protect us. People took their own initiative to protect their communities, and that's what we're talking about here. Final word to you, John. Again, where can people follow you? Where can they see what you're up to? Last 20 seconds.
First, self-defense is not violence, number one. And number two, I am reachable on X at Levine Jonathan, and I accept all tips and scoops and ideas that you may have from big wide world listening to this, and I'm very available. So message me if anything's not going right in your world, and we can help fix it.
All right, well, thank you so much, John. And your colleague, Arid Sabarium, is going to be on with Charlie in hour 2. So thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
Pete.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
When inflation jumps, let me do that again. 3, 2, and 1. When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think, well, maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, the Birch Gold Group believes that every American should own physical gold, and so they've created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, the Birch Gold Group will offer you a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. In order to claim eligibility and start the process, request an information kit now. You can do so simply by texting America to the number 989898. Plus, the Birch Gold Group can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. Birch Gold is the only precious metals company so many Americans trust, as do their tens of thousands of customers. So, make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Again, just text the word America to the number 989898 and claim your eligibility and get your free information kit. That's America. Text that number or text that word to the number 989898. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testifying before a Senate committee. Of course, a number of questions had to do with COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines. You also heard just general questions about vaccines specifically. It's, of course, something that the Secretary of Health and Human Services has come out against. And so many Democrats on the panel questioned him and challenged him on his perspectives as it relates to vaccines. Many Republicans on the panel, of course, praised him and continued to praise him for the job that he's doing there as Secretary of Health and Human Services. We'll, of course, have much more from that hearing coming up. In the meantime, a lot of other things making headlines. As President Trump works to end deadly wars that are happening across the globe, he is simultaneously mounting a war against narco terrorists in Latin America. Both Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio say that military operations against cartels will continue following Tuesday's strike on a Venezuelan boat that was was allegedly carrying illegal drugs. 11 people were killed as the president and other top administration officials watched the order being carried out, as you can see here.
We're sealing the border. But President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been, and to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela. We're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our people. We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region. And so you want to try to traffic drugs, it's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
And in other headlines, Florida is set to become the first state to end all state vaccine mandates. The move includes vaccine rules for kids to attend schools.
It's wrong. It's immoral. They do not have the right to tell you what you put in your body. People have a right to make their own decisions, informed decisions. You want to put, whatever different vaccines in your body, God bless you. I hope you make an informed decision. You don't want to put whatever vaccines in your body, God bless you. And I hope you make an informed decision.
Governor Ron DeSantis says the effort coincides with the establishment of the Florida MAHA Commission. He describes it as a working group that will recommend state-level integration of Make America Healthy Again principles, including individual medical freedom and parent rights. Initially, the Florida Department of Health plans to roll back mandates on about a half dozen vaccines under its authority. Beyond that, the department will work with the Republican-majority Florida legislature on a broader package of reforms. Well, that's going to do it for your headlines. As always, we appreciate having you along for the ride. I'm Terrence Bates. Now, let's get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-800-854-0295.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
Okay, everyone, Andrew did a great job for hour one, but today for hour two, I want to have just part one of our great interview I did recently with Aaron Sibarium, investigative reporter at the Washington Free Beacon. In part one, we discuss his experience of Yale, how he became a journalist, the evolution of his political beliefs, some of his biggest stories, and more. It's a really interesting conversation. The full interview will be on the Charlie Kirk Show podcast and members.charliekirk.com. So enjoy this. Hey, everybody, we have a very special conversation with you today. A very smart person who honestly deserves some of those awards they keep giving out to those fake journalists. It's Aaron Sibarium. Aaron, great to see you and meet you.
Great to be here.
And I've been following your work for a while, and I want to go through some of your greatest hits because I have them here. But first, I want to just kind of give you a chance to introduce yourself. You're an investigative reporter with the Washington Free Beacon, and you went to Yale.
I did.
So you go to Yale, and you don't end up at the New York Times?
Correct. So I came into Yale a moderate Democrat and then kind of went through a series of sort of incremental radicalizing moments that pushed me. I don't know how far right they pushed me, but they definitely pushed me further and further right. And by 2020, I certainly felt more comfortable within right-wing institutions than left-wing ones.
What were those radicalizing events?
Yeah, so I mean, there were really two at Yale. The first is that Yale has this thing called the Yale Political Union, which is comprised of all these little kind of debating societies, political parties. And I came in thinking, well, I'm a moderate Democrat, so I'll join the party of the left, right? That's what good Democrats do. But their first resolution of the term was resolved, abolish the police. And this was in 2014, mind you, so kind of a little before.
That was before Michael Brown.
It was I think it was
Michael
before.
Brown was 15, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
it was before Michael Brown. So at the time, I just thought, well, that's stupid. No one's ever going to take that seriously, right? Whereas,
or make it policy.
No, exactly. Whereas the Conservative Party, which is another one of them, was debating resolve that Socrates deserved to die. And I remember seeing that and thinking, that's interesting, and I've never thought to ask that question. These guys seem cool. I'm going to hang out with them.
That's a much more thought-provoking question.
Exactly, much more. So right at the start, it just seemed like there was a sort of vibrancy to the conservative intellectual scene that was lacking on the left. And then the second big radicalizing moment was there were all these protests in 2015 over cultural appropriation, Halloween costumes. There's a famous video in which at the time he was an administrator, he got encircled in the courtyard of one of the residential colleges at Yale and basically accosted. I mean, he wasn't physically hurt, but he was surrounded by these jeering students who were saying, "You haven't made this a safe space. You know, this is supposed to be a home. Free speech doesn't matter." So on and so forth. And then things just kind of spiraled out of control from there. And I guess the maybe sort of 2.5th radicalizing moment is that during that time, I was the opinion editor of the Yale Daily News, the campus paper. And so I had to sit there and field all of the op-eds from of all sides of the campus debate, but from the protesters. And it's like, I remember sitting next to a girl editing her piece that was literally arguing that demands for rational debate were a form of white supremacy designed to police the emotionality of women of color. And in some ways, the creepiest part of all this is that this girl, I had a class with her. She's not a dumb girl at all. She's like, in terms of just raw IQ, very smart, but she was saying this just absolute. And I kind of had to sit there and pretend that I thought it was a valuable perspective and edit it and say, yes, your voice matters, and edit it, make it better. But yeah, seeing up close what the alleged best and brightest actually thought was pretty radicalizing.
And now she's probably like a circuit court judge or something.
I'm not sure exactly what she's doing now, but I know she went to law school, so you never know.
Yeah, or she's like an FBI agent or something. But no, that I think is an important thing to spend a little bit of time on, is that this was not University of Wisconsin-Madison, no offense to them. But this is the pipeline for our nation's decision makers.
Right. There was the South Park episode that kind of made fun of you a little. Yeah,
I think it was great.
Well, it was great.
Piece.
Well, but what I thought was funny, the students in that episode, the fake students, are trying to defend abortion rights or whatever and say kind of normal liberal things. Honestly, what they're saying in South Park, the kind of fake, parodies of liberal students, was a lot more reasonable than what the kids at Yale were actually saying in 2015, right? It's not like they were saying, well, woman's right to choose and who are you to decide when life begins. No, this was full on, you cannot debate anything or disagree with any minority or you're racist. And it really, the sort of Fox News caricature was in fact accurate. There really was no daylight between how I think kind of conservative media portrayed those kids and how they were really behaving.
It's just horrifying because so many of them are now in places of power. Has it gotten worse or better since 2014 at Yale?
It probably, I would assume that in 2020 it got pretty bad. I think it kind of recovered a bit post 2015, then 2020 probably hit a nadir. And then, now with Trump in office, I expect that there is slightly more intellectual freedom in the classroom. I do get the sense conservative kids on campus are a bit more emboldened.
Forthright.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would assume so. I will also tell you that the undergrad, as bad as that was never as crazy as Yale Law School, which went through a period of just absolute insanity where, from what my friends who attended it told me, it really was like Soviet communism.
I know you're not a Yale historian, but I mean, you do know the institution well. I mean, William F. Buckley obviously wrote, God, Man, and Yale. I think that was the title. Yeah. Where, for our audience that doesn't quite follow this but knows it's a problem, where did this come from? Why is it that Yale would get to a place where you have to field an op-ed where someone says, I wrote down like that basically I should be able to dismiss or have a higher elevation of my opinion based solely on immutable characteristics. Where does that come from, and how is that? Why has that been taken seriously at our nation's elite institution?
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, we could have a hour or 2 hour conversation just about that question. I will say what I observed was that it was not the majority of students who actually believed that, but there was a kind of massive preference falsification. So what
does that mean?
So people would just pretend to go along with it, right, and would never
I think
pretend to believe it.
Right.
And one very illustrative example is that as the opinion editor of the YDN, I also had to write sort of the editorial that was the paper's position. And we would have meetings where we would decide what the paper's position should be. And during the meeting where we were supposed to decide what to say about the protests, it became clear right away that if you spoke up and said, hey, I think this is going too far, what about free speech? You were going to immediately be shouted down as a racist. And so no one did, but I had people come up to me afterwards and say, after we had basically democratically, quote unquote, decided to vote to endorse the protests, a lot of people told me, look, I didn't really agree with that. I have issues with the protests, but I felt like I couldn't speak. Yeah, I remember one girl in particular literally said that almost verbatim to me.
So much of this is just third grade peer pressure that just gets elevated to, and that's shouldn't be too surprising.
And you mentioned the New York Times earlier. I mean, some of these students, without naming names, did in fact go on to work at the New York Times
or the Washington Post,
right? Which
I
then,
know some of them.
Yes, right. Which then,
I could name their names.
Right. Which then, like 5 years later, had its own kind of struggle sessions during George Floyd.
So I mean, talk more about that. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but what they do on the college campus doesn't stay there. No. It metastasizes into the next institution.
Yes. It metastasizes into media. And medicine is another big one. I mean, all of them really, corporate America, but I think medicine is a story that has not fully, I think, been appreciated. Just how? So I did a lot of reporting in.
We have these stories, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but keep going.
Yeah. So I had did a lot of reporting in late 2020, 2021, early 2022 about the effort to ration COVID drugs based on race.
We have it right here. It's one of your best, by the way. You deserve huge credit. I remember we covered this for days. Keep going.
Yeah, and so, I mean, these ideas about kind of race-based redistribution that we're inculcating in the academy did not stay confined to a critical race theory seminar at Harvard Law School. I mean, they became government policy in not just, a city or county, but in like multiple U.S. states.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Water. nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5. It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
Learn more in 3 hours than 4 years at a woke university. And it's free. Yahoo! The Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, you hear me talk about YRefy a lot. What's going on? Well, YRefy, they are wonderful supporters of this program and of our campus tour. You see, YRefy, they understand that private student loan debt in America totals about $300 billion. YRefy does not care what your credit score is. When the payment on your distressed or defaulted private student loan is so big that you can't ever get ahead in your finances, YRefy surely is your best option. Let's face it, if you have distressed or defaulted private student loans, nobody is coming to save you or bail you out. YRefy offers a 3-minute rate check without any credit impact. Bad credit is indeed accepted. Just call 888-YRefy34 or log on to yrefy.com. That's YREFY.com. May not be available in all 50 states. If you go to yrefy.com, you can finally take control of your student loan situation. And again, it's distressed or defaulted private student loans, which are different than federal loans. May not be available in all 50 states. YRefy is not a debt settlement company, and they work with each borrower individually, tailoring each loan, each borrower's specific situation. Go to yrefy.com. That's YREFY.com. You guys know how it works. Open mic. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so get comfortable. So you would get rid of all borders. Yes. What species is the baby in the womb? It's a human. Therefore, they should have human rights. No. Okay. He's a liar. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself, not about the other people. It's very clear by how you're acting. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day. You are doing something that is bigger than you. A lot of people. How are we doing?
I'm on the move like a runaway. No turning back, I've been cut to pace. I do not care what the others say. Listen, I told you that I did not come to play. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive. Today is the dawn of a new, and I'm about to shovel. Now they cannot hold me down. When you were winning, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom, and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose.
Ideas about kind of race-based redistribution that we're inculcating in the academy, did not stay confined to a critical race theory seminar at Harvard Law School. I mean, they became government policy in not just, a city or county, but in like multiple U.S. states. At least 3, New York, Utah, and Minnesota, all had these race-conscious triage schemes where basically the way it worked was that if you were not white, you automatically got 2 extra points added to your COVID risk score, and 2 points was about the same weight they would give to things like obesity or diabetes. And so if you held everything else equal, the non-white person was going to win every time. And there was really there was not any serious scientific argument that, this was an exact way to quantify risk, or that all non-white people were really at, that much more risk of developing serious COVID. I mean, this was all nonsense, but they did it anyway. And they only stopped after I reported on it, and then people threatened to sue them.
Yeah, I have the story. I mean, it's incredible. So just to be clear, that life-saving COVID drugs were given in a rationed way against white people to prefer Black or Latino people, or as they say,
yes.
Latinx ethnicity.
Yup. And I would note too that it literally in some of these schemes just lumped in every single person who wasn't white, which, like, even if you thought that maybe one particular racial group for some genetic reason was at a much higher risk of COVID, and there could be some reason why we really should take that into account, that's not what they were doing. They were just saying, well, all of these groups, which in fact had very different rates of COVID mortality, they're all not white, so we'll just kind of create a category for non-white.
Yeah,
and give
so
them
it
extra
says
points.
here in your story, in Minnesota, health officials have devised their own ethical framework that prioritizes Black 18-year-olds over white 64-year-olds for COVID drugs. Now, correct. I think this was monoclonal antibodies, if I'm not mistaken, which actually was a very effective treatment. Remember, this was in January 2022, so we're about a year and a half into the whole thing. And monoclonal antibodies were very promising immediate developments to kind of to help. So this is not just some trivial thing. But an 18-year-old Black kid in downtown Minneapolis, like an 18-year-old Somalian kid, could get monoclonal antibodies easier than a 64-year-old veteran that fought in Vietnam.
Yeah, so holding constant all of their health conditions, right, that's true. But of course, the thing is that age was the biggest predictor of COVID mortality by far.
Yes,
right?
But they're using race.
Yes, but they're
So, I mean, I really want to dwell on this for a second. How is this possible? I mean, how did we as a country, thankfully, I want to get into that in a second, have we actually turned the page on it, but this parasitic ideology, what do you want to call it, woke mind virus, whatever, it went into medicine where we are less likely to give out life-saving drugs just because of some sort of oppression framework we're working from.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why it became such a powerful force in medicine. One of them is that the field of public health, kind of from its inception, was based in sort of what you might call proto-woke premises, right? Because the whole idea behind public health, right, is that there are social forces that affect the spread of disease. Now, of course, that's true and uncontroversial at a sufficient level of generality, but you can see how if that's your mindset to look for social forces that influence epidemiological patterns or influence the spread of disease, you're going to be more open to these kinds of DEI, critical race theories that prescribe rationing drugs based on race, right? I think that's one reason. And then the other, and again, this is a little more speculative, but I get the sense that to become a doctor, you have to jump through all of these hoops, and it may select for a certain kind of person who's smart, but perhaps also somewhat conformist and just as willing to kind of do whatever, check whatever boxes they're told to check. And unlike, say, law, which has its own problems, but at least in law, you know, doing legal training, there's some emphasis on getting the other side, debating. There's nothing like that in medicine, so I just think medicine hasn't developed really any antibodies against wokeism.
How did you find this story?
Someone I think it might have been Carol Markowitz, the journalist, tweeted.
She's great.
Yeah, she tweeted about New York's, and I just thought, I wonder if any other states are doing this. And so I basically just started Googling. This was before ChatGPT. So I just started Googling, trying to find other examples. And I found this is perhaps the most scandalous part. This was all public. I mean, they didn't even try to hide it. They thought,
that's right. So right? The CDC said high-risk states that, quote, systemic health and social inequities have put minorities at increased risk. So it's the systemic racism is the reason why they're dying.
Yeah, and there was also this guidance the FDA put out that said race could be a risk factor.
We'll be right back with Aaron. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. freedom@charliekirk.com.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
Not only does it change you on the outside, but something in the inside, knowing that you're looking better.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt in my life.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Well, today we're going to see one for ourselves and let you be the judge. It's called Plexiderm, and lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and you'll notice the model has bags underneath his eyes and some sagging, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face, and that's how easy it is.
All right, what's the active ingredient?
Okay, so it's silicates that are minerals found in shale rock, and what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes in as little as 10 minutes, no prescriptions, and very little effort. Even watching the video, this is a real, it's a model, but it's a real guy with real bags underneath his eyes.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. This is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It was amazing. It feels good. Feels great. Looks even better.
And I did this to my father. We were at home. So we applied it to his under eye bags. And let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view. And now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. He calls me every single month saying, "Hey, Annette, I'm out of Plexiderm. Please send me more." And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. The way you want to do it is you want to have a clean, dry face. You use a small amount because it's so powerful. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to, you want to look years younger, this is it.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work for yourself after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-800-854-0295.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry and put away. Call or go online now to get the Superlight 25-foot Pocket Hose Copperhead today for only $29.99. Order right now and get our 10-pattern thumb drive spray nozzle free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. Order now.
As President Trump works to end deadly wars that are happening across the globe, he is simultaneously mounting a war against narco terrorists in Latin America. Both Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio say that military operations against cartels will continue following Tuesday's strike on a Venezuelan boat that was allegedly carrying illegal drugs. 11 people were killed as the president and other top administration officials watched the order being carried out, as you can see here.
We're sealing the border. But President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been, and to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela. We're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our people. We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region. And so you want to try to traffic drugs, it's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
And in other headlines, Florida is set to become the first state to end all state vaccine mandates. The move includes vaccine rules for kids to attend schools.
It's wrong. It's immoral. They do not have the right to tell you what you put in your body. People have a right to make their own decisions, informed decisions. You want to put, whatever different vaccines in your body, God bless you. I hope you make an informed decision. You don't want to put whatever vaccines in your body, God bless you. And I hope you make an informed decision.
Governor Ron DeSantis says the effort coincides with the establishment of the Florida MAHA Commission. He describes it as a working group that will recommend state-level integration of Make America Healthy Again principles, including individual medical freedom and parent rights. Initially, the Florida Department of Health plans to roll back mandates on about a half dozen vaccines under its authority. Beyond that, the department will work with the Republican-majority Florida legislature on a broader package of reforms. Well, that's going to do it for your headlines. As always, we appreciate having you along for the ride. I'm Terrence Bates. Now, let's get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Of the MAGA doctrine and president of Turning Point USA. Here's Charlie Kirk.
All right, I want to tell you guys about Patriot Mobile before we get back to our important interview. It's patriotmobile.com/Charlie. I realize there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all the time, but here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is indeed worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the way in the red economy, but Patriot Mobile also outgains the competition when it comes to technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers with access to all three major U.S. networks. They also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. It's time to make the switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Charlie or call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code Charlie for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/Charlie. 972-PATRIOT, patriotmobile.com/Charlie.
Yeah, and there was also this guidance the FDA put out that said race could be a risk factor. And again, in some sense, yes, it's true that there were statistical correlations between race and COVID-19 mortality.
But is it factoring for all the other variables, though?
Well, no, probably not. And that's
because, this is not a racist thing to say, but Black Americans tend to be more overweight in the 40s or 50s, especially Black women, than their counterparts.
So that's
just a statistical fact.
Yes, and there's also probably difference. There's also class differences, right?
Of course. No, again, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that.
I think one thing that's interesting is actually one of the states, Utah, later claimed that one of the reasons they abandoned this scheme is that it wasn't even working to get the drugs to minorities. And reading between the lines, right, and of course that wouldn't make it okay. But
the whole premise is so sinister, right?
Yes. But I would just point out that it may well have been that the problem here was that the people they wanted to get the drugs to just weren't coming in the door. And so all they really ended up doing was kind of erecting barriers for white people. It didn't even accomplish its desired goal.
80% white state, or 90%. Right. The 10% are Polynesian. They have very small Black population.
Yeah,
right?
they're and if your goal was to reach them, there probably were ways you could have done it, but sort of this crude scheme of racial preferences was not.
Well, so it's very interesting. This is somewhat of a really cruel and dark thought experiment. Yeah. You could imagine a philosophy professor or a morality ethics professor saying, what if I had a life-saving drug? How should we distribute it to the population? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what was on display. And he's like, let's have a discussion about it today.
Yeah.
And you see how that is actually put in practice.
Right.
And it was this fact sheet from, what is Sotrovimab?
That's one of the monoclonal antibodies.
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay, got it. So you report this, which is just obviously like a ridiculous violation of the Civil Rights Act, right? Which has its problems, and then they back off. And Minnesota and Utah, that's a red state.
Yeah. It's really amazing how even in red states this stuff has spread very far. You see this in universities too, where people have this idea that the DEI programs are much worse at Ivy League schools than they are at public schools in red states. That is not true. There's another journalist named John Saylor who's done really good FOIA work, FOIAing just all of these red state universities, and they put things in writing like, we don't want to hire a white man. I mean, that's how explicit it is, and that's in red states. So it really, any kind of, this is a bit of an overgeneralization, but generally, institutions that are not directly subject to the levers of electoral power, or that state governments have kind of taken a hands-off approach to, that it got its hooks into all of them, right?
Is that what is it about wokeism? I hate that term because it's overused. That it just has to keep on infecting, has to keep on spreading. It's like, you guys control enough already. You control Hollywood, you control the schools, you control the music, you control the NFL, but you also have to control our monoclonal antibody distribution.
Right.
It's like it's like an Islamic ummah. The ummah in Islamic theology is like the all covering of God. It's like wokeism must cover all society.
Right. Well, I mean, one thing about wokeism is that it doesn't really acknowledge kind of the distinction between the public and private sphere, right? You hear people say everything is political, right? And so all the institutions of civil society are seen as sites of political contestation. I think that's a big part of it. Look, this is changing now, but for a while, when civil rights law was exclusively really used by the left as kind of a tool of social engineering, that was another thing, right? There were legal pressures that I think helped accelerate and reinforce the woke takeover. I don't want to reduce it all to that. Sure. But hostile environment complaints, right, do create incentives for corporations to censor speech and to do these sorts of trainings that morph into DEI. I do think that is changing now because there are new civil rights enforcers in town, and they have adopted a very different interpretation of the civil rights laws. And so we're seeing now that civil rights law does not necessarily have to lead to wokeness. But I think that until the right sort of seized the levers of the civil rights state and started using it very aggressively, the civil rights bureaucracies were all populated by progressives, and that was a big kind of bureaucratic mechanism that pushed.
Yeah, I mean, and part of the civil rights regime is built on disparate impact, which is Can you comment on that?
Yes, I think that's a big problem. So for many years, although quotas were officially outlawed, there was this concept called disparate impact, which was that if you do a kind of race-blind employment test, but it has a disparate impact, more whites than blacks pass the test, then the test, unless you can prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, basically, that it is sort of inessential, that it is inextricably tied to the job qualifications, and that this is really the only way to assess people, unless you can prove that, which is a very high bar, the test was basically unlawful, right? And it was considered discriminatory. And now that is starting to be changed because President Trump has issued an executive order revoking
one of his most important.
Going after disparate impact. It's possible that some of the Supreme Court cases that kind of solidified this concept will get overturned depending on what the litigation is. But yeah, I mean, for many years there was this phrase called goals and timetables, where the government would say, well, you don't have to adopt quotas, you just have to have goals and a timetable for reaching them. And, if you don't, that could be evidence of unlawful discrimination. We're not saying it is evidence, it just could be. And so, of course, in practice, that means that you kind of do have to have at least some approximate racial balance, which leads to some of these discriminatory policies.
Continuing on the whole medical theme, you have another story that was published in May of last year which is a failed medical school, how racial preferences supposedly outlawed in California have persisted at UCLA.
Yes.
So this is kind of connecting. This is what happened at UCLA?
Yeah, so at UCLA, to my knowledge, this is maybe the first time this has ever happened, that multiple members of the admissions committee basically came to me and told me anonymously about the affirmative action they were doing, and provided various emails and even some internal data that kind of backed up that there was a lot of racial preferences going on. And the reason they came forward was that they, A, just thought it was intrinsically unjust, but B, they were really worried because they were seeing medical students start to really fail basic tests of medical competence and show up to their clinical rotations not knowing anything.
Not knowing anything.
That's what one of them told me almost verbatim. And I would note that none of the whistleblowers, I would say, struck me as particularly conservative. I mean, I don't think anyone involved in this story
are wearing MAGA hats.
No one who was worried about this was wearing a MAGA hat. I'm sure they all voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, or almost all of them did, right? But they were worried because they just saw kids showing up and they couldn't, name basic arteries and stuff, and they
didn't know to put the catheter in.
Right, and they were failing these things called the shelf exams, which you take after each clinical rotation. There were some cohorts where 50% of the kids would fail, and that had never happened before. There was a huge spike in the failure rate on these exams, and this all happened after a kind of new dean of admissions came in and really pushed the DEI very aggressively.
So wait, your reporting says up to half of UCLA medical students now fail basic tests of medical competence.
Yeah, it's not half of all UCLA medical students. What it is basically they're in each clinical rotation. It's a little hard to explain, but basically there were certain classes at UCLA, certain rotations where half of the kids in that small cohort were failing, and then you also see that the overall failure rate goes from very low to something closer to 20 or 25%. So there's a change over time. So, look, probably the average graduate of UCLA Medical School is still very good, but there are far more people who are not up to snuff than there used to be. And that's really what those statistics are capturing.
What are the implications of this?
I mean, the obvious one is, someone makes it through, and then
they take out your appendix, your kidney instead of your appendix.
Yeah, that's the kind of nightmare. Organ. That's the nightmare scenario. I mean, the other thing that may happen is that some of the folks graduate. They may be good enough to be very basic kind of primary care doctors and competent at sort of more basic fields of medicine, but they're not going to go into high-level research. And the problem with that is part of how medicine advances and what these schools are supposed to do is to be engines of medical innovation. And so if all of the schools do this sort of heavy affirmative action and fewer of the graduates are really qualified to do the kind of cutting edge research that pushes the frontiers of medicine forward, you may not see, it's not necessarily that the surgeons are going to kill you. I mean, that might happen, but I think that's probably not really the main concern, at least in the immediate term. The deeper concern is that you just see this kind of slow and hard to quantify, but nonetheless very real decline in kind of the quality of academic research.
But we all see it. I mean, I've had friends in Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and they might have graduates from the UCLA Medical School. Is the UCLA Medical School good? Is it considered to be competitive?
It's considered very competitive, yes.
And so I've seen at Cedars-Sinai, some of these nurses are kind of like space cadets at times. I don't want to insult them. You have to wonder, I mean, and everybody knows this, that the quality of hospital care has gone down the last 20 years. It's just anecdotally.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say, too, that there's another dynamic here, which is maybe only, say, 20% of the kids are really struggling and the rest are fine. But because you don't want to flunk those bottom 20%, you have to make the classes easier for everyone to avoid the bottom 20% flunking out. And so the top kids don't get the same quality of education. So they might still be good, but they won't be as good.
Hello, my friend. Pat Boone here. You know our country's under financial assault like never before. Our government has put us $34 trillion in debt. The interest alone is more than we spend on military defense. And what's worse, other countries no longer believe the U.S. is a safe place to invest. There's a growing international movement to dump U.S. dollars at a record pace. Some economists say this may signal the end of the dollar. Now, these countries are instead buying gold, and I'm suggesting you do the same. My friends at Swiss America have been helping Americans like you and me for over 40 years to buy physical gold and silver for delivery to our homes or held in our IRAs. I've trusted Swiss America for nearly 25 years now, and you can trust them too. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these troubling times.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
100% American made. And darn proud of it. The Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, everyone, America Fest is coming. It's amfest.com, amfest.com. That's amfest.com. Watch this promo. America Fest is the starting point for us to take America to greater heights in 2025. We have a team that is ready to change the world and bring America back to greatness.
Experience the greatest celebration of America. 4 days, thousands of patriots, the loudest voices, the strongest leaders, featuring Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Grant Cardone, Rob Schneider, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Glenn Beck, Riley Gaines, Todd Chrisley, Savannah Chrisley, and more. December 18th to 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. The movement meets here. You won't want to miss this. Register now at amfest.com.
You guys know how it works. Open mic. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so get comfortable. So you would get rid of all borders. Yes. What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human.
Therefore, they should have human rights.
No!
He's a liar. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself, not about the other people. It's very clear by how you're acting.
What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
A lot of people. How are we doing?
I'm on the move like a runaway. No turning back, I've begun to pace. I do not care what the others say. Listen, I told you that I did not come to play. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive. Today is the dawn of a new, and I'm about to show them that they cannot hold me down. When you won't win, then you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose.
the TikTok Economic Impact. That is TikTokeconomicimpact.com. TikTok has helped U.S. businesses contribute over $24 billion for the U.S. economy. That's real money flowing into small businesses, like Arizona Taco King, who went viral on TikTok and hit $1.3 million in sales in their first year. Now they're hiring more staff just to keep up. Or Bluff Cakes, who started as a home baking side hustle and became a national cookie brand. Or She Mechanic, whose business has tripled in just 1 year with help from TikTok. TikTok is helping small businesses thrive, and that's adding up to more jobs, more growth, over $24 billion flowing into the U.S. economy. Go to TikTokeconomicimpact.com. That is TikTokeconomicimpact.com. You have to wonder, everybody knows this, that the quality of hospital care has gone down the last 20 years. It's just anecdotally.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say, too, that there's another dynamic here, which is maybe only, say, 20% of the kids are really struggling and the rest are fine. But because you don't want to flunk those bottom 20%, you have to make the classes easier for everyone to avoid the bottom 20% flunking out. And so the top kids don't get the same quality of education. So they might still be good, but they won't be as good, right? And so there's this kind of progressive mediocritization of the medical profession, driven by this sort of bottom 20% dragging kids.
So I have to read this. This is one of my favorite paragraphs. I just saw this. Led by Lucero, who you introduced earlier in the piece, she also serves, or I think it's she, as right? As the vice chair of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion of UCLA's anesthesiology department.
Yes.
So let me just understand this. So the practice of administering general anesthesia, which is incredibly important. People die way too much, and thankfully we're one of the leaders in the world. It says the admissions committee routinely gives Black and Latino applicants a pass for subpar metrics for people who served on it, said, while whites and Asians need perfect scores to be considered. What is steelman that argument for me? Why does an anesthesiology department need a DEI office?
That argument's pretty hard to steel, man. I mean,
at some point, you're super smart. You went to Yale. You're part of the debate club. What is the argument for that? We're trying to figure, we need your body weight. We need to figure out how long, the mixture of these very, very powerful chemicals.
The argument you would hear is that somehow
the white anesthesiologist will murder the black person?
Maybe we have implicit bias, and so if we don't correct the implicit biases, we won't really get the most qualified anesthesiologist. Yeah, look, it's silly. It's silly.
It just collapses. But this, you pointed on something. So implicit bias, that would be their argument probably. Or their argument would be like, hey, a white anesthesiologist, they don't know the struggle of a black woman they're about to put under. And so, she needs someone that knows the struggle of being a black woman. I'm sorry, you're administering drugs to go under surgery. Don't you want the best?
Yeah.
But definitionally, don't you want, you can die under general anesthesia.
Yeah.
It's very high stakes.
Yes. And this has always been the kind of canonical argument against racial preferences, right? Well, do you care if your surgeon is black or white?
But it's like in front of us. It's not, I know. Not theoretical.
And there's another detail in the story where she apparently, according to at least one or two people, said that so when they do residency admissions, which is a different thing, that's for when they're actually admitting basically like trainee doctors who've already graduated medical school. They have this sort of rank list of who they want to admit, and she advocated for bumping a white candidate down many slots because she thought, well, we already have enough white people. And I think that ultimately was reversed, but still, she was explicitly saying we should, move the rank of different candidates around based on race and the residents would be actually performing anesthesiology. So
again, of all the places that have a DEI office, if you want to have the DEI office at the Department of Labor, I'm going to fight that, but you can maybe make like a stronger anesthesiology.
Yeah. Not where I would put it.
Not where I would put it. That's if anything other than making sure the patient wakes up is the mission statement of an anesthesiology department. No good. After a Native American applicant was rejected in 2021, Lucero chewed out the committee and made members sit through a 2-hour lecture on Native history. What is this all about? So there was a struggle session administered by this DEI anesthesiology czar?
Yeah, I guess so. And I think that struggle session was, if I remember right, delivered by her sister.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Native American history delivered by her own sister.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, it's also this is the other thing. It's just a time suck too. Like there's something
drain.
else.
I mean,
we haven't even gotten to what they did to their curriculum at UCLA, which was to make all the kids take a required structural racism and health equity class. And in that class, I mean, they literally learned, one of the readings said that fat phobia was medicine's status quo, and said that the concept of obesity enacts violence on fat people.
More with Andrew and Aaron Sabarian tomorrow. Talk to you then. God bless. See you soon.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-800-854-0295.
This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
I want to go into Chicago, and I have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland.
This morning, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. set to testify on Capitol Hill amid turmoil at the CDC and backlash to his vaccine policy. Kennedy defending the direction he has taken the public health agency, saying he's working to restore public trust.
Are you saying that a mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying
to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire...
You're evading the question.
The state of Florida plans to end all vaccine mandates for children. They say Florida will phase out all of the long-standing vaccine mandates put in place to protect children against diseases like polio and measles.
You've expressed many times your frustration and disappointment with Putin, but there's no action.
How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal, would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action?
The new president of Poland was here at the White House today, aiming to strengthen his relationship with President Trump. One goal that the president of Poland had going into this was getting reassurance from President Trump that the American soldiers on the ground in Poland will remain there.
They've long wanted to have a larger presence. We have some countries that have more, not too many, but no, they'll be staying in Poland. We're very much aligned with Poland.
The U.S. is set to, quote, wage war on narco-terrorist organizations. That remark from Secretary of State Marco Rubio just a day after a U.S. military strike on a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela. The week's events have heightened tensions with Venezuela and President Nicolas Maduro, who President Trump claims is in control of a notorious criminal organization overseeing the drug trade.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. We are here live, Washington, D.C. Today is September 4th, 2025, Anno Domini. As you can see, we are not normally in the place where we film. We're not also in our new studio because we are here on the sidelines of the National Conservatism Conference 2025, which is being held here in the nation's capital, the now freest city and safest city in America, Washington, D.C. So what we've done is we're going to sit down and go through a series of talks, some interviews, some sit-downs, and a plenary address that was given by myself earlier today. We're going to play that in full for you here on the program. And why come to the National Conservatism Conference? Why hold a National Conservatism Conference? What does it even mean? Well, to me, the idea of national conservatism is when we look at all of the issues in our country right now, what is the biggest one? The biggest one are these questions of what are nations? Do nations exist? Well, I say they do. Now, some people will tell you that nations are just economic extraction zones or just lines on a map, but I disagree. I think a nation is its people. I think the people come first, and then the people form a nation. That's clearly what our founding fathers believed. That's clearly what the pioneers on the frontier believed. They believed they were forging a nation. They were fighting for a nation. They were creating something from nothing when they came to America. That was the pioneer spirit, and that's been lost. That's absolutely been lost. And we have these policies now in place where people like the Mamdanis and the Jayapals and the Mohammeds come over and can take power over our cities and over our people. And obviously, there's a problem with that. There's a problem with policy. There's a problem with thinking. There's a problem with rhetoric. And I'm hoping that we can now begin to address that and do so from a perspective where people understand that this fight is about national identity. And national identity exists because nations exist, and nations are different. That's what the point is of different nations. It all goes all the way back to the Bible and the Tower of Babel. We are not meant to be one global morass of mush the way the globalists would have it. No, we are absolutely diverse and multicultural nations, but you cannot have multiculturalism in one nation, or that nation will be torn apart. Diversity isn't our strength. Unity is. So you have to have something to unite around. That's why when I come in and I say, oh, you know, I'm totally against burning the American flag, that's what I mean. I mean having unity around those shared, protected national symbols. And that's why they do deserve a special protection beyond other things that are protected in our society. But let's cut the crap for a second. Obviously, burning a flag is not the same thing as speech. An act of violence and vandalism and burning is not the act of using speech or engaging in speech, writing speech, drawing a cartoon. Obviously, it is something else. And so when we look towards the National Conservatism Conference, and when we have the ability to debate these ideas and to sit down and actually have these discussions, we can then learn. And we can see what works, what doesn't work. We can see what is popular, what is not popular. And so one of the great speeches that was held here was, "What is an American?" I think that actually is a seminal speech and a seminal question for us, where we are and who we are. We have to define it, because this idea that anyone can magically become an American just because you cross our borders and they hand you a piece of paper is not working. It's not working out for New York. It's not working out for Detroit. It certainly isn't working in Minneapolis. And so hopefully we can be here at the National Conservatism Conference, debate these ideas, hash it out, and come forward working with the Trump administration, who sent a lot of people here today, to be able to figure out what way to go forward to save our country and hopefully save every country that is facing this problem. So we'll be right back. Jack Posobiec, we're here at the National Conservatism Conference, Human Events Daily on Real Business.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry and put away. Copperhead. It's the hose that grows and pivots, flexes, and sprays. It puts itself away for another day. The Pocket Hose is so unique and so innovative, it was awarded over 100 patents. Call or go online now to get the Superlight 25-foot Pocket Hose Copperhead today for only $39.99. But wait, order right now and you'll receive an instant $10 discount. So it's only $29.99. And it gets better. Order right now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. A $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot Copperhead. Plus, Copperhead comes with a full 10-year warranty. It's that durable. That means you can order right now with total confidence. But this special offer is not available in stores or on Amazon. So order right here, right now. And with rising costs, this may be your last chance at this low price. There is a strict limit of 3 per order. So don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-957-6191 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-957-6191 or visit getcopperhead.com. Order now.
And in our way, and our golden age has just begun.
This is Human Events with Jack Posobiec.
Now it's time for everyone to understand what America First truly means. Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the National Conservatism Conference, my fellow Americans, to my friends, and especially to my enemies. I have a message for all of you specifically. You are losing and we are winning. Make no mistake, the tide has turned. For years, they told us our cause was hopeless. They told us that borders were just imaginary lines on a map, that crime was the new normal, and that America must bleed its sons and daughters in forever wars all around the world with no end. But today, we stand here with proof in our hands that they were wrong and we were right. Look at our nation's capital, where we are right now. Washington, D.C., once a lawless symbol of decay, has now changed, seemingly overnight. Washington, D.C., as we stand here now, is now the safest city in the United States of America. And how? How did we do this? Because we had the courage to bring the tools at our disposal. We brought in the National Guard. We enforced the law. We gave police the resources that they needed. We said enough was enough. And Washington, D.C. has now gone from a punchline to a model that we will replicate around the country. That is victory. And we know who showed us the way. President Donald J. Trump. The man who stood up and said, America first is not a slogan, it is a mission. And special thanks as well to President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador, because you proved that when you fight crime with courage, when you take your nation back from the gangs, safety and order can be restored. These men gave us a blueprint, and it is our job now to carry it forward. And that fight, my friends, is not just here at home. Because for decades, our military strategy was wasted in forever wars, in deserts halfway around the world, chasing ghosts, while our own communities suffered and decayed. But the sea change is here, because we are done dying in wars that never end. Instead, we are bringing the fight to where it belongs, against the cartels that are poisoning our children, that are killing our families, these criminal networks that have been waging direct war on our people every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, the military strikes on the cartels have begun. And let me tell you something, the only thing that I want for Christmas this year is more cartel strikes. Folks, this is what it means to fight for America, and this is what it means to win. But I want to shift gears a little bit, because I want to tell you about something that the globalists never want you to question. And this is a fantasy that has been pushed for years in this country, particularly since the post-war era. And this fantasy is something called the blank slate. Now, what do I mean about the blank slate? Well, blank slaters believe that people all around the world are interchangeable cogs. They say that anyone from anywhere can be dropped in America, and then poof, overnight, they're a red-blooded American. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not reality. That is reality. Go look at the propaganda. It's everywhere. And it's very simple. But we can see when a great city like New York, our greatest city, is on the precipice of being run by a Zoran Mamdani, I think we realize that something has gone absolutely wrong and something has to give. Because as I stand here today, we are less than 10 years away from one of America's great cities being run by a Mohammed. We know it's coming, we can call it out, and it is time to say enough is enough, something has to give. These people are not American, they do not want to be American, they do not want to assimilate, and they are not interested in assimilation. And I say, if they don't want to be part of this country, they can go home. Look around the world. Look around the world. Korea is Korean. Saudi Arabia is Saudi. Africa is African. I personally moved to China myself. I lived there for 2 years. I learned to speak Mandarin Chinese. 打倒共产党，打倒共产党。我跟你说，我真的会讲中文的，就是的。But take a look at me, folks. I'm not Chinese. I'm just not. I'm never going to be Chinese. It is a fantasy. And if I ran around telling you that I was Chinese, you would call me a lunatic, and you would be right. You see, when it comes to gender fluidity, the right seems to get this right and understands it. But at the same time, many seem to support this idea of nation and national fluidity. This is based on a discredited fantasy of the blank slate. Nations survive because they defend their identity. They don't pretend that they are blank slates. And this is serious, because what happens when we open the floodgates to mass migration? Do we get one united America? No. We get a fractured America, and that's the situation that we've been in for a long time.
We get mini nations growing inside our own borders. Little Bangladeshes, little Kabuls, little Mogadishus. Do these mass migrants suddenly erase centuries of culture? Do they erase their old loyalties? Do they bring those loyalties? No. They bring the loyalties with them. They bring the conflicts with them as well. And then we're told that we have to celebrate it even when it divides us. Well, I will tell you something. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. And this is a huge problem because we live in a time and age where technology plays a huge role here. Because of this technology, you have the ability for these nations to essentially still live in their home nation. They present themselves as still being members of their home nation. They say this in their own words. Go listen to Omar Fatah up there in Minneapolis. Go listen to some of the things that these people say. They refer to Somalia as their homeland. And I say, when they tell you what they believe, you should listen. It's really simple. We don't want entire towns where the American flag has been replaced by a foreign one. If you want to wave another flag, then you are free to do so on the flight back home. And if you want to burn our flag, you can take a trip to jail. The truth is, it's simple. Some people can assimilate, but many are not interested to. That's not bigotry, that's reality. And pretending otherwise is destroying our nation. The blank slate is dead. Nations are not interchangeable. People are not interchangeable. And America is not just dirt that you stand on and trod beneath your feet. A nation is a culture, a history, our faith, our tradition, and our people. So this is what I say. No more lies, no more blank slate, no more mass migration that turns America into someone else's homeland. Because what happens if we lose that? Well, if we lose that, then you lose the soul of America. And if you lose the soul of America, then there is no America left to save. And I promise you this, we will never, ever let that happen. Every year, we see millions upon millions of people coming into our country on these temporary visas, worker visas, student visas, tourist visas, and every year they break their word. They commit fraud, they commit scams, they commit schemes. They break our laws and they don't go home. That is not immigration. That is invasion. That is invasion and infiltration. And we're going to tell you who is behind it, because we're going to name names of the biggest violators of our immigration laws. The three biggest are China, India, and Mexico. China sends in waves of these so-called students every single year. Many are tied directly back to the Chinese Communist Party. And you can just open the newspaper or Human Events in the Post-Millennial. I see their editor-in-chief right here in the front row. And you can see stories every single day of the theft of American research, in many cases national security research, in many cases government-funded, U.S. government-funded research that is stolen and sent back to the Chinese Communist Party. Then we also see these cases where they overstay, they steal our technology, and they treat America like a buffet line. In fact, the Chinese national just recently stole the entire source code of XAI, and I believe handed it over to OpenAI. Then you have India. India milks the H-1B system dry, replacing American workers in our own tech companies, undercutting wages, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. That's why President Trump is coming in with the tariffs now, and people got really mad when I said this online. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to end the scam calls, and I think a great way to do that would be tariff every single one of these call centers. We know they're going on overseas. We know exactly where they're coming from. We know how to do this. They say, oh, Jack, you can't do that. That's not a service. Okay, midwits, with the word thinking. Let's just stop for a second and understand. The United States Constitution authorizes the government to impose duties and imports on any foreign commerce. So guess what? There's nothing in the Constitution that says we can't, and in fact, we are going to. And Mexico, right? And Mexico. 90% of these seasonal visas, the work visas, go to Mexico. And every time, thousands upon thousands of these workers don't ever return. A temporary visa turns into a permanent stay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not guest work. That's permanent trespass. That is invasion. So I say, you know what? No more. If you cannot abide by our rules, if you cannot follow the laws that have been written down, and if you do not understand that the ability to come to the United States is not a right, it is a privilege, then you lose the privilege because you have broken our rules. So no more endless visas for China, no more endless visas for India, and no more endless visas for Mexico. America is not a revolving door, it is a sovereign nation. It's really simple. I mean, I'm a dad. I say the same thing to my kids. If you abuse the privileges, you lose them. It's really that simple, ladies and gentlemen. And so if these countries continue to refuse the rules, the answer is simple. We're going to stop. Stop issuing these visas for China. Stop issuing visas for India, and stop issuing visas for Mexico. If you can't obey the rules, then you will lose the privilege. It is simple as that. From now on, folks, we will put American workers first. We will put American families first, and we will put the American nation first. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all here at the National Conservatism Conference. God bless America, and God bless the American people. Thank you very much.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5.
It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing. There's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
We're back here, Human Events Daily. As you can see, we're on the sidelines of the National Conservatism Conference here in Washington, D.C. Just saw the great speech that we did earlier. Hope you like that. And then, of course, we're sitting down now with Administrator Kelly Loeffler of the Small Business Administration. But first, I wanted to tell you guys and really ask you a question. Right? I got a question for everybody. Are you feeling a little bit off since COVID? Or if you are one of the people who got the vaccine, well, you're not alone. And new research backs this up. Let me explain. In a groundbreaking study, risk stratification for the future cardiac arrest after the jab, Dr. Peter McCullough highlights an alarming rise in sudden cardiac events among young and previously healthy individuals. His study found that tiny hidden patches of heart inflammation, often missed by doctors, could silently be building up, leading to sudden heart attacks during exercise or sleep. That is why the wellness company created the 3-in-1 Ultimate Spike Detox, crafted with 100% natural ingredients, specifically designed to help your body clear harmful spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. Don't wait until symptoms strike. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. Peter McCullough, a top freedom-fighting doctor who risked it all. Head to twc.health/POSO and use promo code POSO to get 10% off plus free shipping. That's twc.health/POSO and use promo code POSO to get 10% off. Get back to that pre-COVID feeling. Well, folks, we're here at the National Conservatism Conference. I got to say, this is an incredible event. You've got great speakers from members of the U.S. cabinet, President Trump's cabinet, and then just a wide array of people who, yes, there's differences of opinion. Not everyone who agrees with me, but that's fine. They're perfectly within their rights to be wrong, and I'm more than happy to correct them when they're being wrong. But no, there's been a great, I would say, camaraderie of ideas here, and I really appreciate the work that they're doing, the ability they've had. And there's been some great debates here, and I like the idea that, yes, some of these ideas are going to be controversial. Absolutely. That's the whole point, because we're figuring out what the problems that we have in our society are right now and what are the best ways to think about them. And one of those people who's really at the forefront of it is Administrator Kelly Loeffler, who sat down with her today. We're very excited to be here sitting down Washington, D.C. We're on the sidelines of the National Conservatism Conference, and we're with the administrator of the SBA, Kelly Loeffler. Great to see you, Kelly.
Great to be with you, Jack.
Well, we've had a couple of interesting weeks together. You just came back, and we were there, the Polish inauguration. Tell me a little bit about that, and then what it was like being with the two presidents.
Well, first of all, it was such an incredible honor to lead the U.S. presidential delegation to Poland for President Nawrocki's inauguration, and great to run into you there. It was amazing.
It was wonderful, and thank you again for dressing in the Polish colors of red and white today.
Yeah,
you're still representing
after the great meeting at the White House yesterday. Yes. 1 month later. No, it was an incredible inauguration, but also a moment in history. I mean, I really think President Trump changed the outcome of this election for the better of Poland, for the Polish people, and actually for our partnership. They're a model ally, not just in terms of NATO, but in terms of economic, energy, defense, all these important areas that Poland is just punching above their weight, and they're growing. They're now a $1 trillion economy, as President Nawrocki said yesterday. So it's been a really incredible thing to be a part of, and I'm now advocating to all my friends and family to visit Poland.
I've coming from a Polish family, and you grow up in the U.S. Polish, and you hear all the schoolyard taunts and all the rest, and I would fire right back. Don't get me wrong. I got plenty of Italian jokes, Irish jokes, all the rest. But it's really been amazing to see what Poland has done and to show that it can be done. And it's a testing bed, I think, for so many of these ideas that we see come in the United States, public law and order, fighting for your culture and your identity against tremendous external forces and outside pressures, and showing that it can be done, and it can be done with love, and it can be done with faith.
Absolutely, and you mentioned faith. I mean, this was what impressed me so much, and I think we're seeing this in America, a return to faith, but an unapologetic embrace of Christianity, of the Catholic faith. And it's so powerful that we went right from the inaugural events into Catholic Mass and the prayers at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, the important grounding of that in that culture really reverberates, back to Pope John Paul's visit to Warsaw. I mean, so much of the history is so rich, and I think we're getting back to our Judeo-Christian foundations in America finally, and I think it's going to mean so much to millions of people.
Well, I think it's when these cultural warriors launched all of this. What was the
first thing they went after was God in the public square. And they said, whatever you believe in is fine in private, but don't bring that out in public. Well, I think that hasn't quite worked out very well for us.
It hasn't. And in fact, we're actually taking meaningful steps at the SBA to reverse that. We're seeing it all over the federal government. There's a task force to ensure that Christians and religion and religious freedom are not suppressed anymore in this country. But there was a concerted effort that started probably long before the Obama administration, but amid that time, and then accelerated during the Biden administration. So we have to be vigilant. I'm grateful to President Trump that he's restoring a dialogue about faith and religious freedom in this country.
Well, and I know that this is tied to, because your office has really been fighting debanking and this practice that's going on. We've talked to ranchers who are facing this because they don't like the practices of the Tumaha or some certain policies, and we face OR people for religious beliefs and freedom of speech issues. How is the SBA fighting this debanking that we've seen going on?
Yeah, so President Trump signed an executive order to end debanking, to return fair banking to all Americans. It shouldn't have to even do an EO about that. It should be a business practice. But under Obama, it started with Operation Choke Point, where they targeted certain businesses and started using reputational risk as a criteria for bank examinations. And so banks got very concerned about banking certain clients, particularly in the 2A space, for example, gun manufacturers, ammunition, gun stores. But then it spread, obviously, to other places, and it ended up being pro-life or Christians or conservatives. So this was happening over and over. Obviously, under Biden, Choke Point 2.0 came up. And so now, and we've even seen it at the regulatory level. So OCC, FDIC, the Federal Reserve, we're doing bank examinations based on reputational risks of clients. When shareholders tried to sue to stop that, to say we should be maximizing shareholder return and banking for anyone who's a legal business, the Biden administration blocked those shareholder proposals to stop debanking. That's how activist this government got. So we put out a letter to our 5,000 banking clients at the SBA demanding any examples of debanking and to end that practice, which thankfully the federal regulators are also working hard to end. The Federal Reserve Board withdrew their guidance to end evaluation on reputational risks. So we're going to get there, but it's a culture shift that undoes a lot of the damage over the last 16 years.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
Not only does it change you on the outside, but something in the inside, knowing that you're looking better.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt in my life.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Well, today we're going to see one for ourselves and let you be the judge. It's called Plexiderm, and lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and you'll notice the model has bags underneath his eyes and some sagging, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face, and that's how easy it is.
All right, what's the active ingredient?
Okay, so it's silicates that are minerals found in shale rock, and what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes, and as little as 10 minutes, no prescriptions, and very little effort. Even watching the video, this is a real, it's a model, but it's a real guy with real bags underneath his eyes.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. This is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It was amazing. It feels good. Feels great. Looks even better.
And I did this to my father. We were at home. So we applied it to his under eye bags. And let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view. And now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. He calls me every single month saying, "Hey, Annette, I'm out of Plexiderm. Please send me more." And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. The way you want to do it is you want to have a clean, dry face. You use a small amount because it's so powerful. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to, you want to look years younger. This is it.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work for yourself after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
Call 1-800-854-0295.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active?
Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
Where's Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
Well, and this almost sounds like a, something that the Chinese Communist Party would do, this social credit score. We, of course, saw this in, with some of the wokeness and CRT ratings and the DEI ratings that they were given in the market. And it seems like they were doing the same thing in the banks.
That's right. I mean, it's kind of like a greenwashing of everything. Like, hey, look over here. We're green. We're part of the climate circus. Don't look over here where we're suppressing law-abiding Americans' ability to not just grow a business, but even start a business, to start a philanthropy. I mean, there's well-documented examples of this. In fact, even Elizabeth Warren has said they have 12,000 examples of debanking at the CFPB.
She's no fan of the banks, no
fan. But, at the same time, I think, banks that we have talked to are happy to get out of the politicization business as long as regulators aren't going to ding them. And so we have to make sure that we're not okaying it at the commercial level and we're not okaying it at the government level. We want to shine a bright light on it in the practice and get back to helping America grow. And that's what the SBA is doing.
Well, and I believe the president and I think the First Lady herself also experienced
That's right. This. Absolutely. The family... I was debanked in my campaign, so over and over. Same thing happened on the legal side, and to see that happening, you ask yourself, is this a one-off or is this not right? But it snowballed, and you just saw cases and cases. So those days are coming to an end. In addition, at the SBA, the Biden administration had blocked religious adjacent businesses from getting federal disaster loans illegally. And so now we've reversed that and we're able to go back and give dozens of faith-based organizations, churches, small businesses, loans that they deserve when they need it most, when they're hit by a flood or a tornado or a hurricane. So all these illegal practices were happening within the federal government.
And so many of those businesses are in the Bible Belt, and that's what has been hit over the last couple of years by floods, hurricanes, and everything else lately.
And they're the ones that are there for their communities. I was in Texas at the tragic floods that happened over 4th of July. It's the churches that are helping the communities recover. They're marshaling resources. They're serving as a point of prayer and of providence for people. And the Biden administration had illegally shut that off. So we're back to, the way America runs, should run.
America is a way of life, and obviously we should be always supporting that way of life in every level of government. Talk to me about a little bit more on the business side, though. So SBA is obviously turning things up as well. President Trump has put business front and center. He is a businessman, so I'm sure you have lots of conversations with him about that. What has he given you the directive for, and how are you executing?
Well, first of all, it's an incredible honor to serve as President Trump's administrator of the Small Business Administration because, as President Trump says, small business is big business. It's 99% of every business in America is classified as a small business. They create 2 out of every 3 new jobs. And in fact, 98% of all manufacturers in America are small businesses. So it's our defense contractors who rely on those small manufacturers to produce sub-assemblies and other services. So really, if we didn't have the 600,000 small manufacturers in this country that employ 5 million Americans and soon to employ millions more with the $15 trillion that President Trump has brought into this country already, we wouldn't be able to build things. And the media narrative is we can't do it. We need to rely on the Chinese Communist Party to build things for us because we're not capable. That's not true. We sent a man to the moon. We built airplanes. We've created AI and chips and fracking and all the things that power this economy toward exceptionalism that we're returning to. So without small business, though, that engine of Main Street, of job creation, and really of hope of our communities, like the community I grew up in, I grew up on a farm near a town of 600. There were two businesses in that community besides the grade school, a grain elevator and a union training center. When the jobs left our town, the last business, the union training center, closed. That meant there was no training, there were no apprenticeships, and there were no jobs. And these communities, thousands of them have been left behind. It crushed millions of dreams. And President Trump believes in the American worker. He believes in American industry. He knows that's going to restore this country. And that's why this fair trade effort is so important. It's not just about collecting tariffs. It's about making our country safe and prosperous again, because we've been on the receiving side of really predatory trade practices by hundreds of countries around the world.
I spent time living and working in Shanghai, and in my, even before I joined the military, and my job at very low level, but helping U.S. businesses try to sell into the Chinese market, and it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
That's right.
The trade goes one way, and then when you try to bring anything over, we had Hershey's chocolate at one point. It was a client. I'm from Pennsylvania, so that they put me kind of on that one, and or even Disney when they were trying to get in, and it was so hard, the hoops you had to jump through to be able to do this, movies and all the rest. But then when it comes to this way around, when we throw up anything, they immediately scream trade war.
Yeah, it's not just the monetary trade barriers, that collecting a tariff on our pickup trucks, which we cannot sell in Europe.
Nope.
Can't come across, it's 40%, whatever the tariff. It's the non-tariff trade barriers, like you said, the hoops you have to jump through. And that has really put up walls. And small businesses are the ones that bear the brunt of it. The rest of the world can sell into a small business's market in the United States, but a small business is shut off from the rest of the world because of the non-tariff trade barriers. And that's why President Trump's fair trade policy is so vital to the survival of this country and restoring our way of life. Because if we can't make things here anymore, if we can't compete on a level playing field, what are we supposed to do? Continue to be dependent on the Chinese Communist Party for our pharmaceuticals?
No, it's ridiculous. And you mentioned from a national security perspective as well. I can remember so many times, and obviously can't get into too much of it, where, working in Navy intelligence and you're, working on some project and you have this, and when I was there, this is sort of when UAVs and drones were really kind of becoming the new wave. Now they're here, obviously. We can't rely on other countries for those things. We need to make them in-house, but every so often you need that particular widget to make your new gadget work, and you are at the brunt of having to go overseas for that. And that's obviously a huge problem when it comes from a national security perspective, if we're relying on this for our ability to not just have pharmaceuticals, not just have all of our precursors for medicine, but actually our own ability to defend ourselves.
That's right. That's why we built what I call Make Onshoring Great Again portal at the SBA. You can go to our website for free, and if you're sourcing things from outside the country, we've provided a free triple merged database of 1 million domestic suppliers for components, for inputs, to look at maybe there are suppliers domestically that if you're a small business, you can pull from that database. It's at sba.gov. And those are just some of the things we've done at the SBA in a short amount of time on my kind of 50-state manufacturing tour. But at the same time, we're doing more business than we ever have. We've cut agency headcount almost in half. We've cut the spend in half. We found $3 billion of wasteful contracts. And as a result of getting all of that out of the way, we're doing more for small businesses in Main Street and getting the focus off the woke bureaucracy and picking winners and losers that was happening under the Biden administration.
Final question, because I know you've got to run. When you go out, when you're on this tour, when you're talking to manufacturers, when you're talking to these folks that are running the small businesses, how are they responding to all of these changes at the higher levels?
Main Street feels heard again. They feel like they have a voice, and they feel optimistic. And that's not just what I see anecdotally. Small business optimism is above its 53-year average now, and the highest in 5 months. So they know President Trump's fair trade, low tax, low regulation, pro-worker policy is going to fuel their business. So they're investing more than ever. We're introducing larger loan sizes, new loan programs to fuel Main Street. So they're incredibly optimistic. They're so grateful to President Trump. And it's such a blessing to be able to work for him and with this entire administration.
Actually, and I lied, about the last question, did I hear that there was a loan record that you guys just hit?
Yeah, we did. So we've surpassed, I believe it's 51,000 loans now. It's the highest in 10 years. And so we are, just like a small business, we are doing more with less. And I think that's happening across the entire federal government. We found so much waste, fraud, and abuse. We found it in USAID. We've revoked their independent contracting authority. They were abusing it. There was massive bribery around a $550 million contract. No longer. So, and this is, all my peers in the cabinet are doing this. Like, we're making sure to hold ourselves and our agencies accountable and get back to working for the American people.
Amen. Administrator Loeffler, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Jack.
Daily.
Great to be with you.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Water, nature's ultimate cleaner. We drink it, we bathe in it. Think water, think steam, think clean. Now harness the power of water with the H2O X5 5-in-1 steam cleaning system.
I'm so impressed with the X5. It's an all-in-one product. I can use it throughout my entire house.
It's cleaning, it's sanitizing, there's no chemicals in it. It's just steam.
This is unbelievable. There is no more odor.
5 minutes, I'm done. Look at that, it's amazing.
If you're ready to step into an effective, economical, and eco-safe world of cleaning, look no further than the H2O X5. Using just the power of superheated water, the X5 Super Hot Steam cleans and kills up to 99% of germs, viruses, and bacteria. You could spend over $500 to purchase the products that the X5 5-in-1 Miracle replaces. But through this special TV offer, you won't spend $400, $300, or even $200. Order your H2O X5 steam cleaning system, a $500 value, for just 4 easy payments of $43. You'll get the X5 steam mop with microfiber pad, the carpet glider, the handheld scrubber, the window glass and mirror attachment, and the garment and upholstery bonnet. It's a complete 10-piece system, all this for just 4 easy payments of $43. But it gets even better. Order now and we'll upgrade your X5 package. We'll add a 6th mode with a dusting and polishing wand. Valued at over $30, this extra bonus attachment makes your H2O X5 the H2O X6. That means your 10-piece system becomes a 12-piece system at no extra cost to you. If after 30 days you're not absolutely delighted, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price. Don't wait. Now's your chance to own the X5 for just 4 easy payments, and we'll make the first payment for you. You get the X5 incredible 5-in-1 lightweight, powerful 12-piece steam cleaning system, a $500 value, all for just 3 easy payments of $43. This offer can't last forever, so call or click right now.
Jack is a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
All right, guys, well, we're excited to be here in person for once in a while with Libby Emmons, the editor-in-chief of the Post Millennial and Human Events. Libby, how do you like NatCon?
I'm finding the questions that are being asked this year really fascinating. We keep getting into what is an American, what is America, and how do we keep our culture?
Well, and that's, you know, what I was trying to get at in the speech, to even take that what is an American and kind of go a step further with it to say that if there are people, and there clearly are, who either they cannot assimilate or they're not interested in assimilating, or because of technology and all these other factors that they don't have to assimilate, then what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, and in your speech this morning, you asked that question. What does it mean if you're an immigrant coming to America, you're not assimilating, and let's say you applied for asylum, but you're still going home to your home country from whence you apparently fled to visit family for vacations and things like that. Like, what's going on there? What is it about being in America that you want if actually you still have all these ties to your home country? And when you look at the Ellis Island era, people had to leave Europe. They stepped onto the ship, and a lot of people never went back. You know, they never went back even to see their parents. And when you look back even further, the people that left, you know, on the rickety wooden ships, there was never going home again.
The whole idea then was we are cutting ties with the old world. We are embracing the new world. This is why, for example, as we are both descendants of Ellis Islanders, language was one of the first things that was severed, that they wouldn't teach their kids the old language. You must speak English because we want you to assimilate. We want you to be part of the country, and we know that you learning English will be without an accent, will be the fastest way for you to do that. And certainly we all knew people growing up who, okay, they speak Italian at home, or there's some Polish here and there, but for the vast majority, no, it was cut off immediately.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part of it, because language, in a lot of ways is not just the way we express ourselves, but it's how we formulate our thoughts. You formulate your thoughts in a language, and languages are different, right? I mean, there's some languages that don't have the same concepts as other ones. So you need to be part of American culture. You need to understand English. You need to be thinking in English. You need to be thinking in that way.
I made that little gimmick of, saying, I'm not Chinese,
right.
Speech. And so in
someone
Chinese,
behind me was like, oh, that's really good Mandarin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, whoever that was. In Chinese, I was just going to mention something. It's so simple, but I didn't realize this. They don't have a difference between finger and toe.
Really?
Right. So they say finger of the hand and finger of the foot.
Well, that's a little bizarre,
but it's just how they think, right? It's just how they think. Or their word for shark, for example, I always thought was funny. They call it killer fish. And so that's a killer fish. Computer is an electronic brain.
Oh, that's not good. I don't like thinking, but that's not an American concept,
But again, it's their language, and that's how they do it, and that's how they think. And you can think about it in certain ways.
Sure.
And that's great. But it's not American.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
That's totally fine for China to be Chinese. I would not go to China and tell them they can't be Chinese, but I think that we've come to this strange point, and I was hoping to tie, I don't know if I quite got it there yet, but tie together these ideas where the right stands so much against the idea and the falsity of gender fluidity.
Right,
and yet,
that was interesting.
And yet when it comes to national fluidity, nation fluidity, where, anyone could be, and it's just not true.
Yeah, I think that's true too. And it's something that growing up in America in the 80s and 90s, you don't really think about, because American culture was at that time so entrenched. English was so entrenched, Christian values were bedrock to this country. And what happened over the past, 30 years or so is one by one, these things were cast off through mass migration and by the progressive liberal order of this country, saying that.
Interesting enough, the same people who were pushing the mass migration.
Almost like. It's like they had a plan.
Oh, what? Almost like it was deliberate in some way.
Perhaps it was intentional. Perhaps it was, a nation-destroying exercise.
To destabilize our country and destabilize Christianity and destabilize the American way of life. But
and replace it with globalist values. And globalist values are nation-destroying values. That's like the point of them, right?
Well, I was actually, one of the lines that I had said, I was chatting about this last night with Tanya, and I said, it'd be like going into the kitchen and saying, we're going to take all the the melting pot, right? Well, the melting pot actually does fall apart when you think about it, because if you went into the kitchen and took everything you had into the kitchen and poured it into a pot, how would it taste?
Oh, it would be bad. You don't need soy sauce and salsa.
Definitely
on spaghetti.
Slop.
Definitely you don't want that.
No, or like putting cheese on Chinese food.
Right. No, that's bad.
What is that?
There's not a lot of cheese in Asian cuisine.
No, it's not.
No, it's
just not. Again, it's just not generally part of their diet. Something I learned that when I was in China. Okay, great. It's just different. And so you realize that when you get to a point, at some point, the soup is good, but at some point it just turns into sludge and slop and mush. And do we really want that? Do we want to live in a country like that? Do we want our children to live in a country like that? I don't think so.
No, I think we want a strong culture that we can identify, and American culture used to be identifiable the world over. And I think I think that Americans are still identifiable the world over. Like if I go to Italy, obviously I'm not Italian, even though my great-grandparents came from there. I'm obviously American, And that's something that I love about us. I love how you can always tell it's an American. We've got matching T-shirts. We're too loud. We're wearing sneakers.
But I guess the
love
issue
that
is
stuff.
that
Yeah.
You know, and one of the terms that's come up here, and it's, you know, and I love the contentiousness of some of these topics, that they're not afraid to get into. You know, the one guy was up there just talking about household voting.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So that's an interesting concept. Although I said, wouldn't that disincentivize marriage?
It would disincentivize marriage, and it's also, you know, you have a situation where then whoever is the loudest mouth and the most
I get where he's
controlling
coming from.
Gets the
and
vote.
I would even say that, you know, in mail-in voting, you already have household
I agree
voting,
with that, and I think that's a problem.
You know, which absolutely
Somebody's
a problem.
standing over you.
No, the
Figuring
idea
your ballot
of
for
the
you.
private ballot is very sacred, and I think if you mess around with that, you're really causing a lot of problems, which we saw in 2020.
Right.
And so but I love that we have these ideas, and so there's this new phrase that's come up, the paper American or the paperwork American. You know, so and Zoran Mondani is this perfect example of what we're talking about. Someone who's come to this country, he wasn't born here, he's been a citizen for about 5 minutes, and he immediately starts talking about direct communism.
Right, and
saying
his
we need to
parents are
overthrow all
globalists.
this. They're complete globalists. I mean, like quintessential. They're rich, they have a compound in Uganda.
His dad teaches like anti-colonialism at Columbia. Ludicrous.
Anti-colonialism at Columbia. Who does that remind me of? A certain former president of questionable Americanism himself, shall we say. But it's I think that as a movement and as a people that's going through these conversations, and they're tough, history is complicated. History is not a straight line. You know, it's a tapestry, and it's a story, and it's all kind of works together. But, you know, to answer this question, what is an American? I think it goes to the center because our policies flow from these questions. And when we had this idea in, say, the 1960s that America was a nation of immigrants, well, what did we get immediately after that was the 1965 Immigration Act, which started the mass migration. And so I really think that when you look at the upheavals in American society, certainly the upheavals all across Europe, the election in Poland, which was predicated on the idea that blocking mass migration, it has become the question of our day.
Yeah, and another thing, I was talking to Jonathan Kieperman at Passage Press about this.
Lomez.
Yeah, about what is American culture and how do we capture what that is. And we were discussing, you know, bringing the founding stories, you know, making the stories of our founding, these myths, these legends, these true history.
And the frontierism.
Histories, the frontierism. Like, we've lost everything about the wagon train, right? Why have we lost that? The only thing anybody knows about the wagon train anymore is Oregon Trail.
We got to bring it back.
You know, maybe we should.
Bring it back. Oregon Trail, the series.
But we need to talk about these things.
We're going to end on that. Bring back Oregon Trail from, you know, from, by the way, a member of Generation Oregon Trail. Okay. Libby, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Libby Emmons, and you should check out everything we're doing at thepostmillennial.com and humanfence.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have Michael Mitchell to Today Show.
Hey there. Hey. Hey there, how are you? I'm with Disabled American Veterans. I was wondering if you had a quick minute to thank America's veterans for their service and sacrifices.
Of course, why not?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Sure.
All right. Hey, well, come on in here. I'm just going to hit record on this.
I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't even think of the words to say of how grateful I am.
I just want to tell you guys how much you appreciate it.
But most importantly, I want to thank you for your courage and bravery.
Wow.
Just thank you.
Someone here who'd like to say something to you.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome.
Someone has something they want to say to you.
Goodness.
How's it going?
Oh. So I just want to let you know how much you appreciate it. How much you appreciate it.
I just feel honored for everything you've done.
Thank you for myself. Thank you for everybody.
I get to live every day, you know, in peace because of you.
You know, a lot of people thank us, but we want to take the time to thank you, honestly, for giving back. And when you give to DAV, you are supporting veterans like Dave, myself. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You can say thank you to our nation's heroes by calling the number on your screen right now and giving your monthly support of only $19.
Say thank you by going to helpdav.org right now and give just $19 a month. When you do, we'll send you this DAV t-shirt as a thank you and a reminder that you support those who serve.
Please call or go online to helpdav.org right now. Your support says thank you to our nation's disabled American veterans.
America's Voice Live.
And welcome to America's Voice Live.